A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and what it means to be the wife of a famous star. After a nerve-wracking evening at the Hamilton Theater just west of Broadway, a murder has been discovered. Right now, the police have arrived and are talking to Larry Noble backstage. Beside him is Julia Dixon, dazed and apparently unaware of the people about her. Rupert Barlow, wealthy employer of Julia, is approaching the scene with Mary Noble at his side. And we hear...
I'm Sergeant Riley, 51st Street Precinct. Who was it who called to report a murder?
I did, Sergeant.
Name?
Rupert Barlow.
Get the name around.
Yes, sir.
Well, here's my card. Perhaps that will help.
Thanks. Now then, where's the body?
Right here at the entrance to the wings.
Turn on some light, somebody. How can you expect me to see in a place like this? Worse than the morgue.
Well, if I knew where to turn them on, Sergeant.
Must be somebody who knows where the lights go on.
The switchboard is over here.
Okay, Moran. See what you can do.
Right, Sergeant. There ought to be somebody around here who knows something about it without me having to mess with it.
Now, who discovered the body?
I did.
Your name, please?
Noble, Mrs. Larry Noble.
This is your husband, then, huh?
That's right, Sergeant.
Larry Noble. You're the fellow that's playing regularly at this theater. Now, what's the name of that thing again? My wife's seen it a half a dozen times. What? Moran, you turn the light off instead of on.
Well, I can't get the hang of this. Somebody got a light? I don't even have a match.
Wait a minute, I have a cigarette lighter.
Throw some more switches, you fathead. Let's get some light in here.
Oh, there she goes, Sarge. Now I got it. You want more? There's lots more lights here.
Turn them all on.
How's that, Sergeant?
That's better. I'll come back here and start taking some notes. Now then, you say you found the body, Mrs. Noble. When was that?
Well, it seems like ages. But actually, I guess it was only a little more than half an hour.
Oh, it couldn't have been that long, Mary. I phoned the police right after we cut Oliver down.
You did what?
Well, his body was hanging high up in the wings, so we pulled the weights and got him down.
Don't you know better than to tamper with evidence in a murder case?
Sergeant Riley, we had to bring him down. We couldn't be sure whether he was dead unless we did.
Well, let's see the body.
It's right over here, this way.
Yeah. Dead, all right. Must have been dead some little while. Know who he is?
His name is Oliver Wilson.
Address?
All I know is that he's been living in Bermuda.
Whereabouts?
I couldn't say.
What do you know about the man, Mr. Barlow?
Only that he's been a guest in my home out on Long Island for the past 2 months.
And you don't know his address?
No. He was no friend of mine.
And how come he was staying with you? Now, where is your place on Long Island?
Oyster Bay.
You getting that, Moran?
Yes, sir.
You better get on the phone and have the lab truck run over, will you? While I get these names straightened out.
Where's the telephone at?
Now, how should I know? What do you think I am, a stage door Johnny?
Well, I didn't mean anything, Sarge. I've never been backstage before.
You'll find a telephone on the wall as you go out toward the street.
Thanks, lady. I'll see if I can find it.
All right. Let's get your story, Mrs. Noble. Tell me, how did you find this body and who was with you at the time?
I was all alone. I looked up and saw him hanging way up high in the wing.
What do you mean by high?
Way up there. See where those pulleys end?
You mean to tell me this body was hanging way up there?
Yes.
Well, how'd he get there?
It's a question of weight, Sergeant. You see, those weights are used to haul stage sets up out of the way when they change scenes.
That still doesn't explain how he got there. It couldn't have been an accident or suicide.
No, not very well.
There was a piece of rope tied around his neck, and then he must have been hauled up into the wing.
What a nice trick that was. All right. Let's get at the rest of it. How did you happen to be here alone at the time?
It was late. There'd been a theater party, and quite a few of us were backstage after the performance. Then we started to think about getting home. My husband went to his dressing room to change and take off his makeup. Miss Vincent went to her dressing room and...
Now, wait a minute. Who is this Miss Vincent?
She's new to the play. This is her first night to appear in the feminine lead.
I thought you were the star, Mr. Noble.
Well, Miss Vincent is the leading lady.
Oh? And what happened to her?
Why, she's around. At least she was a minute ago.
Yes, I'm here, Larry.
Now, who said that? Will you come up here where I can see you, miss?
Very well. I was just waiting to be asked. I've been sitting out front here until I was called. It's been a pretty strenuous evening. I hope you'll make allowances for that.
Your name? The first name, that is.
Claudia.
Claudia Vincent. What do you know about this man that's been murdered, Miss Vincent?
Very little. In fact, practically nothing at all.
It's a lie.
What's that?
She was married to him. She ran off and got married, and when she found out he wasn't rich, she killed him.
Get that woman out of here. Can't you see that she's crazy?
Now, just a minute now. Let's take one thing at a time. Will you please step forward, miss, and let's get your name?
Julia Dixon.
I didn't ask you. I asked her.
She's my secretary and my housekeeper, and she's worked for me for 10 years, and she's entirely trustworthy.
I'll speak to the lady herself. When I need her, your help, I'll ask her for you. Now then, Miss Dixon, if you'll please explain what you meant by your remark a minute ago about Miss Vincent being married to the deceased.
She killed him when she found out he wasn't rich. She tricked him into marrying her.
That's a lie. I didn't have to trick him. He wouldn't take no for an answer. He kept after me. He hung around me all the time. Just ask anyone who was here backstage these last few days.
Then it's true you were married to the deceased.
Yes.
How long?
2 days.
Oh, I see. You have my sympathy, Miss Vincent. I can see this must be very hard on you.
She killed him. She hated him when she found out he wasn't rich.
Julia, will you stop interrupting?
She killed him. She didn't want him, and still she wouldn't let him alone. She's worse than a murderess. She's a cheat. A cheat! She made a laughing stock of me. Oh, Julia, please don't. Let me help you over to this chair. Now then, sit on it. I know this is dreadful for you, but you must try to control yourself.
Yes, I found her outside like that. As if she was in a daze. She hardly seemed to recognize me.
Sergeant Riley, this woman is ill. She's in no condition to be here at all.
The M.E. will be here in a few minutes, Mrs. Noble. He can look after her. Just let her sit there quietly. Moran.
Yes, sir?
You might stay over there closer.
Yes, sir.
Now then, just how did Miss Dixon happen to be here tonight?
She was my guest at the play.
Who else were guests?
Mr. Barlow, Mr. Bryson, and Miss Maud Marlowe.
Anybody else?
Wait a minute. I haven't got that. Bryson and Maud Marlowe?
Mrs. Noble? Anybody else?
Yes, Mr. Wilson.
The murdered man?
Yes.
Now, just how does this Mr. Oliver Wilson fit into this picture? Mr. Barlow, you say he's been visiting. I learned that he and Miss Vincent were recently married, and Miss Dixon accuses her of the murder. Can anyone explain?
I believe I can, Sergeant. Miss Dixon met Mr. Wilson several months ago while she was visiting in Bermuda. She was attracted to him, and when he voiced a wish to visit the States, she invited him to return with her.
And I take it he did.
Yes.
Now, Miss Dixon, have you anything to add to this?
I don't believe she's able to answer, Sergeant. She seems to be dazed.
You mean she's made all the trouble she could, and now she doesn't want to be questioned. Now, don't be taken in by her cheap trick, Sergeant Riley. She's furious because she couldn't scare Rupert Barlow into marrying her by threatening to run away with Oliver.
If I were you, I'd speak carefully, Claudia Vincent. You're not in a very well-protected position, you know.
Now, what's all this double talk? Speak up if anyone has any facts to give. Otherwise, keep still till I ask you something. Is that clear? Now then, just who had a motive for killing this man?
As Sergeant Riley looks from one face to another, Mary makes a mental note of people with a motive. Claudia Vincent, Julia Dixon, Rupert Barlow, perhaps, and even Larry could be a suspect. At this, her heart sinks. She looks at her husband with fear and worry. Be sure to be listening tomorrow to Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and her husband Larry Noble, famous Broadway star.
countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future. Adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds.
X minus 1.
Tonight's story, The Parade, by George Lefferts.
You are Mr. Sid Ryan?
The same?
My name is Lucia. I'm a Martian.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. What was that again?
A Martian.
A Martian, huh? As in Orson Welles?
Precisely.
I'm a Rotarian myself. Sit down.
Thank you.
And now that we've had our little joke, Mr. Lucia, what can Publicity Associates do for you?
It has been my observation that advertising and publicity are the very backbone of earthly civilization.
Spoken like a true Martian, Mr. Lucia. Now, if you'll tell me the name of the client.
The client, of course, will be the Martian.
You don't give up, do you?
Give up?
The gag, I mean. Oliver.
Oh, yes, Mr. Ryan?
This is Mr. Lucia.
How do you do,
Mr. Lucia claims to be a Martian. Take him outside, will you, Oliver? Get the name of the sanatorium he escaped from and tell them to bring the butterfly net.
Wait, sir. I'm happy to see, Mr. Ryan, that my telling you I'm a Martian has approximately the effect I supposed it would have. I believe we can do business. I have here the cash retainer for $5,000.
Sit down, Mr. Lucia. Oliver, get the client a cigar.
Yes, sir.
No, the other box.
Thank you. No.
Well, now, what can I do for you, sir?
I wish you to manage a publicity campaign. A very large, a very important campaign.
Is the product established, or is it something brand new?
Oh, something quite new. Now, what would you judge to be the most effective type of campaign?
Well, if the client has a lot of dough to throw around, a suspense campaign is best. First, you place ads in the paper saying, watch this space. Then, about a week later, you run an ad saying XYZ or PDQ, and you get people guessing what it means. Then, finally, when you've teased them enough, you bust loose and unveil the product.
Excellent. Very well, sir. We shall conduct a suspense campaign.
Of course, in this kind of campaign, secrecy is very important. Once the name of the product leaks out, it spreads like wildfire, and the whole campaign is kerfloppo.
Yes, quite so. Utmost secrecy.
That's right. You realize, of course, these things cost like crazy.
Would, say, $1 million cover the expense?
Come again?
I said, would $1 million cover it?
Yes, I imagine. You did say $1 million.
I understood that you had handled some very large accounts. Of course, if this is too big...
Oh, not at all. As a matter of fact, I seldom touch anything less. Right, Oliver?
Huh? Oh, of course. That's right, Mr. Ryan. Absolutely right.
Good. You will begin, then, by saturating the newspapers, the radio, streetcars, with a very simple statement.
What's that?
I shall write it for you.
The Martians are coming. Say, that's not a bad teaser. Got that, Oliver?
Yes, sir.
The next ad will read, June 1st is Martian Day.
June 1st is Martian Day.
What happens on June 1st?
The parade takes place.
What parade?
I wish you to arrange a parade up Fifth Avenue.
You mean like the Macy parade?
Exactly. Except that the theme will be the world of tomorrow. the Martian world. My client would like it to be a gay affair. Balloons, clowns, pennants, pretty drum majorettes.
Say, that sounds terrific. I might be able to interest the department stores in a tie-in.
The parade will climax the campaign. On June 1st, the product will be unveiled.
Good enough. By the way, Mr. Lucia, just what is the product? What are we selling?
Oh, no, Mr. Ryan. Secrecy, remember.
Oh, but after
all will be revealed to you in good time, Mr. Ryan. For the moment, let us say we are selling a concept.
Concept?
Precisely. The concept of invasion from Mars.
Benny Marcus, please.
This is Benny.
Benny, this is Sid Ryan over at Publicity Associates. Listen, Benny, how you fix for midgets?
I got midgets.
Fine. I need 40 midgets for a parade. 40. June 1st. And listen, Benny, I want them dressed in little spacesuits.
What?
You know, like men from Mars, okay?
Midgets.
And I want some movie extras, maybe 50 of them. Also rigged up like men from Mars. Make them look gruesome. Got that?
Gruesome.
Also, I need some horses with pretty girls on top of them. Maybe you can get that bunch from Maroney's Traveling Circus. The ones we booked for the Fireman's Parade in Albany last year.
That's right, Sid.
And never mind the expense. Just get me the talent, okay? I gotta hang up now. Call me back, Benny. How you doing, Oliver?
Oh, fine, Mr. Ryan, just fine. We got full-page ads in all the dailies and 10-second spot announcements on every local station, but it's costing a fortune.
The more it costs, the bigger our percentage. Spend like you were going to the electric chair, Oliver.
Yes, sir. How you making out on the parade?
If it comes off, it'll be the biggest thing since Barnum invented the midget. I've got Macy's, gimbals, and sacks to contribute floats. Everything is built around the Martian theme, see? Even horses will have long feelers attached to them and funny-looking extra legs. It'll be sensational.
Oh, yeah, it sounds fine, only...
Only what?
Oh, Mr. Ryan, we don't even know what we're selling.
Oliver, my boy, do you think old Sid Ryan has been sitting here spending all this moolah and not putting two and two together?
You mean you know who Lucia represents?
Just by accident, understand? I have learned that Century Pictures is making a big new epic. A space opera entitled Invasion from Mars. Get it?
Oh, I begin to see.
Also, by mere coincidence, it happens to be the premiere sometime around June 1st. You follow me?
But, Mr. Ryan, Century has an exclusive contract with New Features Syndicate for all their publicity.
Suppose Century Pictures doesn't like the way New Features is handling their stuff. They want to get out of the contract, but New Features says no. So they have to get around the contract. A man named Lucia, client unknown, starts publicizing the Martian invasion. Need I go further?
Oh, I get it, Mr. Ryan. Gee, I suppose I should have thought of that.
No, Oliver, that's what I like about you. You're so innocent. Let me talk to Commissioner Patrick, please. Sid Ryan.
Hello?
Commish? Sid Ryan.
Oh, it's you. Well, what is it this time? If you want to drop a man off the Empire State Building into a teacup full of water, the answer is no. Also, we are not arresting any fan dancers.
You know I don't handle fan dances. I want a permit for a parade, June 1st, 5th Avenue. It's a Sunday. There's no traffic.
Oh, come now. Look, Ryan.
Macy's gets a permit. Gimbals gets a permit. The American Legion gets a permit. The Sons of Erin march every time Morton Downey sings the Wearing the Green. Don't give me a hard time, Patrick. This is too big. I have the 5th Avenue Merchants Association behind me.
Okay, Ryan. Fill out the forms. I'll pass them along to the license commissioner.
That's my boy.
Oh, by the way, what's the occasion?
Oh, don't you read the papers, Patrick? June 1st is Martian Day.
Well, Mr. Ryan, how is the campaign going?
Like fire, Mr. Lucia, like fire. Everybody and his brother is going along with the gang. Yesterday, we distributed 50,000 Martian hats to school kids. I even arranged for Commissioner Patrick to accept a $50,000 check for the Policeman's Benevolent Fund from the man from Mars. I understand Century Pictures spent over $1 million making that space opera. I beg pardon? Oh, come, Mr. Lucia. Sid Ryan wasn't born yesterday, you know. I know who our client is, even if you don't admit it.
You do?
Always thinking that's me.
Well, as long as you know, let's keep it to ourselves, shall we, Mr. Ryan? As you once remarked, when these things leak out, it destroys the surprise and ruins the effectiveness of the campaign.
Speaking to you from our portable transmitter atop the reviewing stand for the much-heralded Martian Parade on Fifth Avenue. It's a beautiful sunlit day here in New York. Perfect day for a parade. And the streets are packed with thousands of spectators, all eager to find out what this is all about. There's an air of shrill expectancy.
Come over here!
Okay, come all right. I just had word from Saul Brown up at Central Park Mall that the Martians have landed from big pink balloons. And while we're waiting here for the arrival of the parade, we brought some people up to our microphone to tell you their reactions to this spectacular affair. What's your name, madam? A little louder, please.
Miss Ada Shackley.
And where are you from, Mrs. Shackley?
Columbus, Ohio.
I see. And I see you have your family with you. Two little curly-headed boys. Are you in New York for your vacation?
Yeah, we came for the Shriners Convention with their daddy.
Well, what do you think of Martian Day, Mrs. Shackley?
Well, it all seems very strange to me, but the boys have been pestering me to watch it, so we've been standing here for 2 hours. I can't make head or tail of it.
Well, neither can a lot of other people, Mrs. Shackley, but judging by the thousands here already, there's a lot of curiosity.
Curiosity killed a cat.
Let's hope not. Thank you, Mrs. Shackley. And now here they come, ladies and gentlemen. The first units of the big Martian Parade, swinging down Fifth Avenue. Fanfare, colored streamers, music, confetti, floats, all the attractions of the Mardi Gras. Let's listen to the band for a minute. Here in the vanguard, the whole troop of little midgets in weird-looking pink and blue spacesuits, carrying Rube Goldberg weapons with signs painted on them. I can read one which says Atomic Blaster. Another has a placard reading, "We're marching through Georgia." And here come the clowns, laughing and falling all over each other. They're giving free sugar candy to the kids along the way. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there's a happy, laughing crowd along Fifth Avenue today. A true reflection of the great sense of humor and good nature that makes America the place it is. Why, only... What's this? The crowd's murmuring now. They've fallen somewhat silent. There's something coming. I'll try to get it for you. What? Ladies and gentlemen, here comes the Martian Contingent. This is promised as the climax of the show. And now a great hush has fallen over the crowd. Quite a sight to see these thousands of people standing here expectantly, hearing only the great regular sigh of their mass breathing. And now here they come, ladies and gentlemen. The Martians, marching in booted, helmeted ranks, row after row of them. This is an impressive sight, ladies and gentlemen. And a rather serious contrast to the rest of these, the joyous slapstick parade we've been witnessing up until now. There are perhaps, 200 tall, broad-chested men dressed in metallic gray spacesuits with thick glass visors drawn across their faces. Each one's holding an ominous-looking ray gun at the ready position. They're marching in absolute silence. Using steps perfectly, as though some neat, unspoken command is marking time for them. Even the children are awed by the unexpected, warlike realism of the Martian Legion. And now the first ranks of the Martians move past us, down Fifth Avenue toward the reviewing stands at the square. No one moves. A woman, ladies and gentlemen, just dashed out into the street. For what reason, I don't know. She just slipped through the police cordon somehow. They're after her now. But she's already reached the ranks of the marchers, and she's trying to lift the visor of one of the Martian spacesuits. Wait. She's fallen. She screamed and then fell forward in a dead faint. The Martian column keeps right on coming. Unless they break ranks, they're going to trample us. No. The policemen have got her now. They're dragging her away, out of the way. Trying to revive her now. What's that? All sorts of rumors have begun filtering back through the crowd. Some are even whispering that the woman's dead. We don't know yet, but whatever's happened, the incident seems to have cast a slight shadow over the mood of the crowd. The carefree holiday air seems to have vanished. The crowd's stirring uneasily. A little disturbed at what we've just seen. Nothing to be alarmed at, however. It just seems a shame that anything like this should happen to spoil our enjoyment of the Martian parade.
Mr. Ryan, did you see that? A woman fainted. She ran out into the street to get a close look at the Martians, then she screamed and fainted dead away.
I'm well aware of that, Oliver, since I paid her $50 to do it.
What?
The dramatic moment, Oliver. The stock and trade of the good publicity man. Relax.
Holy smokes, you sure think of everything.
For my share of this deal, roughly $100,000, I can afford to think of everything. Shut the window.
Oh, okay, but don't you want to see the finish?
We'll get down to the reviewing stand for the finish. Right now, I want to make a phone call. By the way, where's Lucia?
I haven't seen it.
Well, close the window, Oliver.
Well, okay, Mr. Ryan.
Market Talent Agency.
Benny, this is Sid Ryan.
Oh, say, listen, Sid, I was going to call you. I'm awful sorry about those Martians.
What do you mean, sorry? They're terrific.
No, don't joke, Sid. I mean it.
Well, I mean it, too. They're great.
Do you want a bag?
Never felt better.
You mean it, don't you?
Of course I mean it. What is this?
There are Martians in the parade?
About 150. Of course, I only ordered 50, but under the circumstance...
Sid.
What is it?
Sid, don't you know I couldn't get you a single movie extra? There's a studio strike in New York.
Huh? Wait a minute. Where'd these guys come from if you didn't hire them?
I don't know.
Hold on. Oliver.
Oh, yes, Mr. Ryan?
Did you hire those Martians?
Well, no, sir. I didn't...
This is on the level, isn't it?
Oh, Sid,
Okay, Benny, I'll call you back.
What's the matter, Mr. Ryan?
I don't know. Just don't know. Wonder if Lucia... What's Century Pictures number?
Tremaine 4, 1000.
Tremaine 4, 1000.
Century Pictures, the studio of the stars.
Give me Marty Sanford, your publicity director.
1 moment, please.
Sanford.
Marty, this is Sid Ryan.
Oh, hello, Sid. How's it
Fine. Listen, Marty, this is dead serious. On the level, get it?
What's wrong?
I've got to locate Lucia.
Lou who?
Lucia, come on now, Marty. This is life and death. The guy you sent over to hire me for the invasion picture.
I haven't heard of a guy named Lucia. And, what invasion picture?
Invasion from Mars, the space opera.
Are you batty?
Marty.
That picture was shelved last month.
What?
Sure, back in the can. The big shots decided you can't sell a Martian invasion to the American public. It's too incredible, Sid. Who'd ever believe it could really happen? Now, all agree.
Mother in heaven.
What is it, Mr. Ryan? You look terrible.
It's too fantastic.
Mr. Ryan, is something wrong?
Open that window. I want another look at those Martians. Look at them. Oliver, you were in the Army. Could 150 movie extras learn to march like that in, say, 24 hours?
No. Not in 24 days, Mr. Ryan.
Not a second's hesitation. Not one out of step. Look at the way they carry those ray guns at the ready. The only other time I've seen troops march like that was on a film of the Nazi SS troops marching through the streets of Paris.
Mr. Ryan.
Oliver, get down there. Find that woman who painted. Her name's Gloria Montez. Get her up here. Make it fast.
I can't get much sense out of her.
Stay away from me!
Okay, Gloria. You can cut out the act and relax. It's me, Sid Ryan. Gloria, settle down. Baby, it's me, Sid.
It's awful. It's open green eyes and the feelings like a cat's face.
Baby, snap out of it. Listen, what happened down there? You ran out and screamed like I told you, but the fainting, that wasn't in the act.
Go away, please. Go away.
Just one question, baby. Inside that helmet, what did you see? Okay, Oliver. I've heard enough anyway. You take care of Gloria. Get her a drink. Where are you going? To see the commissioner. You got to stop this parade before things begin to happen.
Okay, Ryan, what's the beef?
Listen, Patrick, I don't know what it is, see, but something's wrong. You've got to stop that parade.
I suppose you'd like the riot squad. That would get you a front page spread on every paper in town. Now, look, Ryan, I've got no time for your cheap publicity gags. I'm a busy man.
Listen, I'm trying to tell you I don't know where those Martians came from, who they are, anything about them.
All right, and I'm wise to your tricks. Now, if you let the sergeant show you out...
You won't do it, huh? An honest citizen appeals for protection and you refuse?
I most emphatically do. Now, beat it.
All right, Patrick. I'll go right to the mayor's office. I'll have you busted flatter than the fried egg.
Go ahead. I'm sure His Honor will be glad to toss you out on that phony nickel-plated skull of yours.
You heard me, Ryan. You can't see the mayor.
Adolf, please. This isn't a gag. I don't want publicity. All I want to do is maybe prevent something horrible from happening.
In case you don't know it, wise guy, something horrible is already happening. A couple of hundred little kids are in the hospital with ptomaine poisoning from that phony Martian candy you passed out.
What?
Or didn't you know?
I did. We've got to stop that parade.
Sure, you'd like nothing better than start a panic now. Maybe a few hundred people get trampled to death. Think of the newspaper's face. That'd get you and your phony plot.
I won't stand for this, Adolf. This may be a matter of life and death.
Get out of here quick. It'll be your death. Go on, beat it. Get out. You and your publicity sons. Make me sick to my stomach.
Oliver, where are you? Oliver!
It is useless to scream at him, Mr. Ryan. Your friend is quite dead.
Lucia.
He wanted to run to the police with some story about a Martian invasion. I found it necessary to restrain him.
Restrain him, you stinking murderer!
Now, Mr. Ryan, collect yourself. After all our planning, it wouldn't do to have everything spoiled now, would it?
Lucia, I'll start talking and talk fast, because when you get through, I'm going to take you apart piece by piece. What's this all about?
Surely you know, Mr. Ryan. After all, you've been publicizing it for months. You see, before colonizing your planet, the Martian government sent some of us as scouts in advance, disguised as Earthmen, of course, to study your habits, your weaknesses. We found that the people on Earth are predominantly conditioned by advertising and publicity. And so we conceived the idea of treating our entire invasion as a vast publicity stunt. Clever, yes? After all, Mr. Ryan, who would suspect an invader who advertised his invasion in the newspaper, invited the public to a surprise attack, and spent millions publicizing his plans?
Holy jumping.
You've done very well, you see.
Then there was no product.
Ah, but there is a product. The product is death.
What are you trying, Lucia?
We Martians are a humane people, Mr. Ryan. We do not like to destroy thousands where a few hundred will suffice. In exactly 2 minutes, our troops will treat the world to a spectacle of death, which will bring the rest of your planet to its knees in horror. Nations will clamor to surrender.
Perhaps, Mr. Lucia, but not if I can help.
No!
Yes, please?
Operator, this is Mr. Ryan. Get me the field telephone on the reviewing stand of the Martian Day Parade. Hurry.
Anyone in particular?
Just hurry.
Reviewing stand. Hello?
Get me Commissioner Patrick.
Hello?
Hello?
You have to talk louder.
I want Commissioner Patrick. Patrick!
Wait a minute. Things are quieting down. Hey, what was that you wanted?
This is Ryan. I have to talk to the Commissioner. It's a matter of life and death.
Oh, you can't talk to him now. The Chief Martian is presenting the PBA check to him. The Martians are going to fire a salute.
Listen, you gotta stop him.
What?
Stop him!
Sorry, Mr. Ryan, I can't.
You idiot! The worst is doesn't matter. Nothing matters now.
Tonight by transcription, X-1 has brought you The Parade, written by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Joseph Curtin as Ryan, Barry Kroger as Lushar, Alexander Scourby as Ron Heilman, music by Albert Behrman. X-1 was produced by Van Woodward and directed by Edward King. Fred Collins speaking. X-1 is an NBC Radio Network production. And now, next week. The Cave of the Night. The gripping story of the first man to pilot an Earth satellite beyond the reach of gravitational pull. And of what happened when a watching world learned that something had gone wrong, that he could never return, that he was doomed to die a lingering death in the arching blackness of the sky. The Cave of Night. Hear it next week at X-1.
Did you ever stop to realize that 4 American coins show us the importance of elections? The first one is the Washington Quarter. It was George Washington who reminded us that on the unity of our government depends our independence, our peace at home and abroad, our safety, prosperity, and our freedom. The second coin is the Jefferson nickel. It was Thomas Jefferson who said, "No government can continue good but under the control of the people." The third coin is a penny, bearing the likeness of Abraham Lincoln, who said, "Among free men, there can be no successful appeal from the ballot to the bullet." And finally, the Roosevelt dime reminds us of something Franklin D. Roosevelt once said. "Every man and every woman in this nation, regardless of party, who have the right to register and to vote, and the opportunity to register and to vote, have also the sacred obligation to register and to vote." These 4 Americans, by recognizing the importance of elections, added another page to your political history.
In just a moment, X-1. But first, how does one man get himself into so many impossible situations? This is a question you'll probably ask yourself tomorrow night when you follow another hilarious adventure of Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve. Yes, Gildy's eye for the ladies and his impulsive temperament managed to entangle him in a web of riotous circumstances. Join the romantic water commissioner, his neighbors, Judge Hooker, Mr. Peavy, and all the loyal Gildersleeve household as they romp through another episode of The Great Gildersleeve tomorrow night. And now stay tuned for X-1 on NBC.
Countdown for blast-off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1. Tonight's story, The Cave of Night, by James E. Gunn.
Oh, you want a little, Charlie? Okay. Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brothers, death the memory be... Anyway, how's it, okay? Okay. Check recording, will you? I may go over a half hour. Make sure they got another reel of tape ready, okay? All right, Look, Bill, I've just put the segments of tape together for the next week's show. I'm going to record my narrations, and we'll listen to it together tomorrow. I know this is unusual, but you're the producer, and I don't want you out on a limb that may be sawed off behind us. This week's show is liable to either win us every award from the Peabody to the Pulitzer Prize, or maybe put the network out of business. Okay, we start with the standard opening. Behind the world, etc., 40 seconds. This is Harry Anders, your editor. At 8 o'clock, after the sun has set and the sky is darkening, look up. There's a man up there where no man has ever been. He is lost in the cave of night.
And the fuel tank's empty. Receiver broken. Transmitting and clear. Anyone picking this up, anyone. This is Rev McMillan calling. Notify Goddard Rock, New Mexico. There's no way to get back.
There's a man up there where no man has ever been. He is lost in the cave of night. We all know that phrase now, the cave of night. It was written by a poet disguised in the cynical hide of a newspaper rewrite man. But it stuck. It caught the world and held it like a butterfly pinned to a board. It started with a ham, an amateur radio operator, in Davenport, Iowa. All right, Eddie. Roll the first tape in here. It's marked.
Am I too close? I was up in the attic. I usually have a talk with WG73. He's in Buenos Aires. We play chess. Well, there was some kind of interference. And then all of a sudden I heard this voice. I record most of my listening anyway, so I had the tape machine running. After I heard it, I called civil defense. That's what we're supposed to.
Look, Bill, I haven't done the final editing on these tapes, so don't worry if they're a little rough. Down out of the night, flung from the darkness, came these words, the first of so many that electrified the world.
Notify Goddard Rock, New Mexico. There's no way to get back. No way to get back. I'm stuck up here. No way to get down.
What does it take to catch the pity of the world? A man wedged underground in Kentucky. A little girl in the bottom of a well. Somebody alive, waiting for rescue, with the days of his life numbered. Somebody somewhere waiting for us to get him out. The story broke in this morning's papers. Orbiting 1,000 miles above our heads was a man, an officer of the United States Air Force in a fuelless spaceship. We're recording at the desk of Mike Bayless, senior night editor of the Continental Press National Wire.
Hey, you always get a reaction like this. I remember the Floyd Collins story in the 20s. Fellow trapped in that cave in Kentucky, remember?
Oh, sure.
And the whole country hanging on to see if he could get out. Then there was that little girl stuck in the well. Kathy Fiskus?
Yeah.
We pulled all those stories out and put them on the wire for background. But this hit bigger. We got the first lead from an Air Force handout in New Mexico. They just said an experimental rocket failed to return to base. But by that time, the cat was out of the bag. Ham operators picked up those messages from Boston to Fairbanks, Alaska.
Mr. Bayless, you first used the phrase, the cave of night, didn't you?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you got to get a little purple on a thing like this. People eat it up. You can't spread it on too thick. Anyway, I was lost in a cave once when I was a kid in upstate New York. I waited around for a couple of hours in the dark until they came for me. It kind of reminded me of that.
It reminded the world of terrors at night, of struggling awake through nightmares. The fears of loneliness, darkness, falling, suffocation, thirst. It reminded me of Rev McMillan. Perhaps I have an advantage over all the other reporters for newspapers and radio and television because I knew Rev McMillan. I knew him in college and in the Air Force. I knew that he was testing rocket-powered craft at Goddard, but I didn't know they were so close to space. No one knew, till those messages of desperation crackled down through the atmosphere. I remembered Rev when I saw those headlines that morning. Straight black hair, Clark Gable ears, a reckless grin. He ate well, reveled in expert jazz and Mozart opera, and he talked incessantly. His southern speech was no drawl. There was too much to say. And now he was alone. And soon all that might be extinguished. The men from the radio newsrooms rushed to Goddard Rocket Base armed with miniature tape recorders.
Gentlemen, I'm Colonel Arthur J. Hannigan, Information Officer for Goddard Rocket Base. And I'm authorized to issue the following statement. First Lieutenant Reverty L. McMillan, United States Air Force pilot, Experimental Rocket Division, took off from Goddard Base at 22:34 Rocky Mountain time. As craft, the XR-37 Mark II, a hydrazine nitric three-stage rocket. I'm sorry I can't describe it, boys. Classified. Well, in order to maintain orbit, the motors were pulsed for 1 second every 15 seconds elapsed time. After 3 minutes, the exhaust was seen by ground spectroscope observation to flare for half a minute. As fuel supply is exhausted, the craft has reached sustaining orbital speed.
What does that mean, Colonel?
He's out of gas. He can't get down.
The first mobilization was of the scientific brains massed at Goddard. Few of them knew Rev. Brains at a research project are usually carefully sorted out and salted away from the distractions of the outside world. They designed, they invented, they calibrated and theorized. But they didn't know the short, stocky man with a lopsided grin who rode the fruit of their labor up and out, and now circled the world of his birth, with time ticking out. I covered the hearings in Washington for the network newsroom. I flew down from New York, and the stewardess came out every few minutes to tell the passengers the latest news. She called him Rev, although she never knew him, and once I thought I saw a tear. The hearing was before the subcommittee of the Senate Committee on Military Affairs. Presiding, Senator Allen J. Haggister of Kentucky.
All right, General Finch. You've made the technical situation fairly comprehensive, even to an old canebrake redneck hillbilly like myself.
I have tried to make the gravity of the situation apparent, sir.
It appears to me, General, that the sacred life of a human being created in the image of his maker is in danger. It's no light thing to be thrown away like some guinea pig. If that ship wasn't safe, if that poor man up there in the cave of night is to die, somebody is responsible. Isn't that right, General?
Sir, a manned rocket was sent up because of one simple fact. It takes a computer of tremendous versatility and capacity to operate a Harrison-Munch reactor engine. A computer of infinite complexity.
And I ask you, General, I put the question to you, why was such a computer not designed?
It has been designed, sir. It was designed 500,000 years ago. There is only one mechanism competent to handle those controls, sir. That is the human brain.
All right. I turn now to my second question, General, and I ask it not only for myself and my colleagues on this committee, but for 170 million Americans listening on the radio, watching on television. With that man up there living out his last days, why was it not possible to send a ship up after it? Why was there no second ship built?
For one reason, Senator, money. The appropriation for rocket research fell short by 12% of the amount needed even to build one vessel. Oh, frankly, gentlemen, the deficiency was made up by cutting corners and diverting funds from other projects.
That is not the point, General. There's a man up there who's going to die.
With the limited funds you gave us, we've done what we set out to do. We've demonstrated that space flight is possible, that a space platform is feasible. If there is any inefficiency, if there is any blame for what has happened, it lies at the door of those who lack the confidence and the courage and ability of their countrymen to fight free of Earth to their greatest glory. Senator, how did you vote on that?
This is Harry Anders in the gallery of the Washington National Cathedral. This is a special prayer service called by the Dean of the Cathedral for the safety of Lieutenant McMillan and for the success of the recently announced rescue plan. The church is filled. There's a sprinkling of high Navy, Army, and Air Force uniforms. I see General Finch in the second row, next to the Secretary of the Air Force and the newly appointed Undersecretary of Defense, Mr. Winokur. Prominently displayed in the center aisle, below the ornate railing separating the pews from the altar, is the small model of Macmillan's ship. One by one now, the congregation is filing past, dropping checks, bills. I saw one child drop in 12 pennies one by one. All all contributions are to be used to defray the cost of the rescue effort. The congregation is now kneeling to pray. A moment of silent prayer will follow for the safety and rescue of Lieutenant McMillan.
$1 billion was raised in 1 week from voluntary contributions. Another $1.5 billion was appropriated unanimously by Congress. The race began. Would the rescue party reach the ship in time? Of course, we didn't know then. And daily we listened to the voice of the man we hoped to buy back from death. Now, look, Bill, on these McMillan broadcast tapes, don't let some ignorant engineering vice president holler because it's not broadcast quality. Believe me, I knew McMillan. There's more of that wild Texan in these tapes than in any hi-fi super-frequency response studio recordings. Just listen. You'll see what I mean.
I've been staring out the portholes. I never tire of it. Through the window at the right, I see a black velvet curtain with a strong light behind it. There are pinpoint holes in the curtain, and the light shines through, not winking the way stars do, but steady. There's no air up here. That's the reason. My oxygen is holding out better than I expected. By my figures, it should last 27 days more. I shouldn't use so much of it talking all the time, but it's hard to stop. Talking, I feel as if I was still in touch with the earth. Still one of you. Even though I am way up here. Too bad the receiver is broken, but if it had to be one or the other, I'm glad it was the transmitter that came through all right. There's only one of me. There are billions of you to talk to. You can't see me now. You'll have to wait hours for the dawn. I'll have mine in a few minutes.
That's the way he talked. And as we listened to the lonely voice from the night, the engineers, the scientists, the construction men worked round the clock. General Finch presented the problem in the pool interview. I asked the questions for the combined networks that afternoon. Most of you heard the complete broadcast live as he briefed the world with the clipped, laconic delivery of a soldier.
There are two basic problems. We've recovered the first and second stages of the rocket. We've only to construct the third stage. The second problem is more difficult. The pilot. Lieutenant McMillan was the only man physically and psychologically qualified. We discovered that in our first program. His training and orientation took 18 months. We have now to duplicate this in 27 days.
You think it's possible, General?
I don't know. That's all, Mr. Anders. Stevenson, get me some coffee, will you? Black and some kind of sandwich, no butter, no mayonnaise.
And then the voice from the cave asked a question and expected no answer.
Do you hear me down there? Sometimes I wonder. I wish there was some way I could be sure you were hearing me. Just that one thing might keep me from going crazy.
I was there the night we answered that question. I was there in a helicopter over Kansas City.
This is Harry Anders speaking to you from a helicopter over Kansas City. There are 15 seconds till midnight. The plan was developed by General Finch. At precisely midnight, every light in the city will be out and then flashed on in 2-second intervals. This will be the exact moment that McMillan's ship is calculated to pass overhead. It's almost time now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There they go. Off. On. Off. On. Off. On.
I see it. I see it. Kansas City winking at me. Oh, yes, I can see it. Thanks. Thanks. You're listening. I know that now. I'm not alone. I'll never forget. I'm waiting for you.
We're recording in the press gallery of the Goddard Rocket Base main construction hangar. The vast third stage component stands before us, men swarming up and down the gantry cranes.
The Mark III is being built to carry 5 men instead of 1. The pilot selection has been kept a top secret to avoid unnecessary strain on the men selected. The latest progress report gives a possible margin of 6 hours between the launching of the rescue ship and the estimated exhaustion supply of oxygen to Lieutenant McMillan. The shift is changing now. The expert construction workers recruited from across the country by the combined efforts of the Air Force Personnel Service, the Atomic Energy Commission, and the International United Electrical Workers and United Auto Workers of the AFL-CIO. The margin is 6 hours. 6 hours between life and death for Lieutenant Reverdy L. McMillan.
An hour ago, I saw the sun rise over Russia. Looks like any other land from here. The green where it should be green. Farther north, a sort of mud color. And then white where the snow is still deep. Up here, you wonder why we're so different when the land is the same. You think we're all the same children of the same mother planet. Who says we're different?
Can you hear me in the back?
Yes, a little close.
Well, how about this?
That's better. That's better.
All right, gentlemen, I have exactly 5 minutes for the press conference. Therefore, I'm not going to answer any questions. Progress report is as follows. As a safety factor, we're constructing 2 complete 3-stage rockets and 6 additional 3rd-stage components. The telemetered reports from McMillan's ship have added important additional information, and the first of the rescue vessels should be ready to be launched at the estimated time, weather permitting. Now, don't ask a question. Within certain limitations of air turbulence, the rocket will be ready to lift in time to save Lieutenant McMillan.
21 days. The air is bad tonight. I can't seem to get a full breath. It seems to stick in the lungs. Doesn't matter, though. But I wish you could see what I've seen. The vast spreading universe around Earth like a bride in a soft veil. You'd know then that we belong out here. Come out, mankind. Come out and see what I have seen.
This is Harry Anders at Goddard Rocket Base. The Harrison Munch reactor engine for the first 3rd-stage rescue is being tested here at Goddard. You can hear the roaring of the gases in the test chamber behind me. The work has been stepped up as a new calculation based on the increased temperature reading from McMillan's ship indicates that the exhaustion time will be some 6 hours earlier than originally estimated. The margin of rescue will be in minutes.
Air very bad. Better hurry. Can't last much longer. Silly, of course you'll hurry. But I don't want anyone feeling sorry for me. I've seen the stars clearly. But more than this, I've seen the earth. There where I have lived and loved. I have known it better than any man. And loved it better. And known its children better. Goodbye. I have a better tomb than the greatest conqueror Earth ever bore. Do not disturb.
Countdown for blast off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Anders, tape 323. We're in the press operation room of Goddard Field. The rescue rocket has been aloft 53 minutes plus. Its calculated time of arrival is 54 minutes. You will hear the voice of General Beauregard Finch on a direct pickup from the rescue vessel, which has been named unofficially the Lifesaver. Silent crowds have collected at the outer perimeter of the rocket base, as if by their presence they might help it.
Quiet.
The next voice you hear will be General Finch aloft in the rescue ship. The voice quality may not be good. He's speaking over a throat mic in his pressure suit.
base. This is Finch. Secure that cable. We have just secured to the airlock of McMillan's ship. I'm now entering the lock. The inner door is closed. I have closed the outer door. The inner door is cycling. Now it is open. Bring in those oxy bottles, will you? The bulkhead to the control room is open.
Is he all right? Come on, what's happening?
Lieutenant McMillan is dead. He died heroically, waiting till all hope was gone, until every oxygen gauge stood at zero. And then, well, the airlock was open when we arrived. In accordance with his own wish, his body will be left here in its eternal orbit. I'm going to leave now. My feet will be the last to touch this deck. Lieutenant McMillan is in his control chair, staring out towards the stars. I'll leave the airlock doors open behind me. Let the airless, frigid arms of space protect and preserve for all eternity this man they would not let go.
Well, that's the show, Bill. Bill, you remember at the conference we hadn't made up our mind whether to pick anything up from the celebration last night after the news of the Mars landing? I said it was the right end for Rev McMillan's story. You said it was old stuff. Every kid knew the sequence. The ships built to rescue Rev, used to set up the satellite base, from the base to the moon and now to Mars. Well, I went out with a mini-tape last night, and I've got the end of the story. Here it is. This is Harry Anders in Times Square. The neon rocket ship at the top of the Times building has just flashed into brilliant light. The signal that the landing signal has been received from the rocket Rev McMillan III. Man has landed on Mars. And the holiday crowd here in Times Square is celebrating like 1,000 New Years rolled into one. I'm being tossed and pushed and clapped on the back all at once. Let's see what the man on the street thinks about man on Mars. You, sir. I'm broadcasting. No, how do you feel about it, sir? How do you feel tonight about man's conquest of space, of the planet?
Leave me alone. I'm in a hurry.
Just a few words.
Look, you get your hands off me. Let go of me. I'm not in.
Wait a minute, sir. Wait. Rev, come back here. Rev. You think I could listen to that voice over and over in a tape editing room and not know every vowel, every consonant? I'm telling you, Bill, I saw him. Rev McMillan. The black hair was gray and those claw cable ears were pinned back, but that's a simple operation. I've played that piece of tape over and over. It was Rev, I know it. He isn't up there. He's alive. We've got it, Bill. We've got it on our show. We'll break it. Rev McMillan is alive. I haven't written it yet, but we finish it off with this, with a question. Why did they announce he was dead? I'm in the tape editing room now. I've got the reel ready to record the answer.
Excuse me, Mr. Anders.
Hey, just a minute. I'm recording. You better see the page outside
Mr.
of the...
Anders, I'd like to talk to you for a moment, if I may. I have a letter of authorization.
Just a minute. I'll be through in a minute. Look, Bill, I've got the answer now. Last night, they landed on Mars. But that first ship, the one that circles up there now, there isn't anybody on it. There never was, except a 30 days recording and a transmitter. That's all. He was never up there. They didn't have the money for a manned rocket. They wanted a crash program all out, so they sent a decoy out. And we all broke our hearts to rescue the man who wasn't there. Oh, he must be laughing, General Finch and the rest of them, the ones that knew. Yeah, I guess they had a problem. What to do with Rev? I wonder if he slipped away from whatever guards they have around him to see the celebration. He looked a little sad. I think sometimes he must wish he was really up there in the cave of night, seated in the icy control room, 1,075 miles above the Earth, staring out at the stars.
Mr. Anders, I must insist...
What? Bill. Looks as if I won't have to worry about editing this tape. My friends are from Washington.
I'd like to call your attention to the last paragraph.
What? Oh, no. It's very simple. You won't have to burn it. It's easy to destroy recording tape. I throw this switch. When the tape goes through the erasing head, it's gone forever. Oh, too bad. Would have made one fine show. Okay. So long, Rev.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features an exciting serial, Slave Ship, by Frederick.
In that dark gray hour just before the dawn, Mrs. Gregory and her chartered rescue boat reached the location of the Magic Island. This weird island has been submerged, raised, and sunk since we saw it last, and Captain Bradford and the girl commander nearly went down with it. They floated all night, clinging to a small rubber life raft, and were just about ready to give up hope when a searchlight swept the sky. Johnson, in the pilot house of the rescue boat, thought he saw a tiny light far ahead and called Mrs. Gregory, Jerry, and Joan to watch with him. Jerry signals with the searchlight, and a faint answering signal is seen. All is excitement aboard the Gregory boat as they bear down rapidly on the two people in the water, the first faint streaks of dawn lighting up the ocean.
There they are, Johnson.
No doubt of it, Mrs. Gregory.
Yep, there's two of them, all right, and they're hanging on to something in the water.
Some form of small life raft, I think.
Yes, Joan, dear. That's what it looks like. Oh, how far are they, Johnson?
Well, we'll pick them up in just 2 or 3 minutes.
Hello, Tex! Hello, Tex!
They cannot hear you, Jerry.
But they're waving their arms. Look, they're all right.
I told you they would be.
Well, they're certainly active enough. Can't be much wrong with them.
Well, I'll go and get the landing stage ready.
Thanks, Jerry. Joan, dear.
Yes, Mother.
Will you go into our cabin, lay out some warm, dry clothes for Elaine, and get out some extra blankets? She'll need them.
Certainly, Mother. I will take care of everything.
Apparently, the captain has managed to keep the Euclideans bottled up. There isn't one in sight.
If he's done that, it's little short of a miracle.
Ahoy, the boat!
Johnson, did you hear that?
Yes, sounded like the captain.
It was. Oh, Johnson, he's all right.
Tex! Hello, Tex!
Oh, Johnson. Tex, he...
Well, I don't blame you much, Mrs. Gregory.
Hey, Skipper! Shove over here, on the double. Move faster than that, man. Can't you see Mrs. Gregory's fainted?
Here, take her in her cabin. I'll give you a hand.
I'm all right. I didn't faint, Johnson.
Well, you certainly gave a good imitation of it. Hold on, Skipper.
Why?
You needn't carry me now, Skipper. I'll be all right.
Fainted.
She didn't faint. Will you please put Mrs. Gregory down?
Thanks, just the same, Skipper.
Isn't there anything in the world which will cause that man to say more than one word at a time?
Nothing. Oh, I'm all right now. How near are we to Texan Elaine?
Mighty close now.
McLeod. Aye, Mr. Johnson. Hold your motors down hard.
Ahoy there, Tex. Are you all right?
They're okay, Pat.
How is Elaine?
Doing very nicely, thank you.
Another one of those girls you can't upset.
Elaine is quite a person.
I've got the landing stage all ready.
Right, Jerry. I'll come back amidships.
Go ahead, Mrs. Gregory. I'll stay on duty here.
Thank you, Johnson. You're always on duty somewhere.
Hurry up, Mrs. Gregory. We're nearly to them.
Coming, Jerry.
Stand by, McLeod. Full speed astern. Full speed astern. You'll have that stage alongside you in a minute, Tex. We're watching it. Be ready to grab this ladder, Elaine.
I will do so, Captain.
Let me go down the ladder, Jerry.
Well, it's swaying pretty badly.
No, I don't mind that. I want to be the one to bring them aboard.
Well, okay, Mrs. Gregory.
Oh, Tex, give me your hand. And Elaine, you must be nearly dead.
We did not fare badly.
Come on up the ladder. I'll help you.
Thank you, Mrs. Gregory.
I'm right up here, Elaine. Give me your hand as soon as you get up high enough.
It is good to see you, Jerry.
Boy, it's sure good to see you, too.
I will take charge of Elaine now, Jerry. Come to our cabin, Elaine. You must have some warm, dry clothing at once.
Hey, look. Look at the captain and Mrs. Gregory.
Why, what did you see, Jerry?
Uh-oh. Nothing.
Not a thing. You hurry up and take Elaine to your cabin.
I do not wish to trouble you. Oh, it is no trouble. Come at once with me.
And before you do anything else, you're going to get into some dry clothing and have something hot to drink.
No time for that now. Hello,
Gee.
Jerry.
Gee, we're glad to see you, Tex.
Maybe you think I'm not glad to be here.
Did you bottle up all the Euclideans?
We sure did, son. Every last one of them.
Say, how do we get them on board?
Now, Jerry, that can wait. Tex needs some dry clothing and some hot food.
Later, Pat. Just now, we've got to handle this matter of the Euclideans. Something may happen to allow them to escape. We'd better get busy.
Well, what'll we do?
I want you to go up and send Johnson to the radio cabin for instructions. You hold the wheel while he's gone. And tell the engineer not to move off this spot.
Aye, aye, sir. I'll send Johnson.
Tex, you're wet and cold and tired.
All of that, Pat, there, but all of that can wait. Let's go in the radio cabin.
Did things work out according to your plans?
Not entirely. They almost had us when they raised that island again. But the last 2 bottles of my solvent sank the island. Elaine and I managed to hang on all night.
Oh, at least it's warm in here.
Yeah, and I'll have Jerry bring me some hot coffee when he comes back. You haven't heard anything from Euclidia on this radio, I suppose?
No, and we haven't tried to contact them.
Just as well, though they've probably heard all we said to each other.
Well, welcome to the ship, Captain.
Thanks, Johnson. Nice work getting here.
Thanks to McLeod. He cried bitter tears over his 4 engines all the way down here. But he kept them running.
Fair enough. Now, here's the setup. I want to take these Euclideans aboard at once. Quarters enough for them?
I think so, Tex. We didn't have time to fix the boat up properly, but there are comfortable, clean quarters for nearly 300 below decks, and food enough to take us back to Los Angeles.
That's all we need. All right, Johnson. I'll get them on the radio and tell them what they're to do. You stay in the bow. Keep the ship in this position. That landing stage is practically over the surface airlock I'll make them come up through.
Well, what if they come up with weapons?
Take one of the crew forward with you, Johnson. Have him train that large telescope on the spot where Euclideans start popping out of the water. I'll tell them we've got some powerful kind of gun pointing at them. They won't know the difference.
That's a good idea, Captain. But are you sure they'll start popping out?
I'll take care of that with the radio.
Anything else?
That's all.
How about getting them peaceably into the hold once they're aboard, Tex?
We've men enough here to guarantee that. I think our trouble with Euclidia is all over. They won't have much fight left in them when they get up here.
Well, I'll shove off. You want Jerry in here?
Yes, for the present. I'll send him out to you later. He knows more of those Euclidean tricks than you do.
Right, Captain.
Well, Pat, here we are.
Yes, Tex. Here we are. And last night I thought we'd never be together again.
I'd like to do nothing but sit here and look at you. There's work to be done. First thing is to see if our friends care to enter into a little radio talk.
Well, I doubt it.
I think they will. Bradford to Euclidia. Bradford to Euclidia. Answer at once.
What will you do if they refuse, Tex?
They won't refuse.
Bailey's on Euclidia to Bradford. Euclidean transmission chamber to Gregory Boat. What is your message, Captain Bradford?
Hello, Thales. You will pass these instructions to everyone in Euclidia. This is final. Do you understand that?
Your instructions will be followed.
Then listen carefully. You will arrange for your entire colony to come aboard this boat immediately. You will leave Euclidia only through the surface airlock near this boat. Any attempt to leave by any other means will force me to release my formula and immediately flood the city of Euclidia, destroying everything in it.
What of the animals and various domestic fowl and beasts?
They will be cared for. After you are all aboard, I will arrange a guard from my crew. They will remain on Euclidia until those animals may be taken out to safety.
I understand. We are to begin evacuation of the city at once. I suppose you realize that we may leave that lock only one at a time, and that several hours will be required.
I realize all that. Start at once. We are ready to take you aboard. You, Thales, shall be the last to leave Euclidia, and your life will be the guarantee of the actions and safety of the others.
That is well. We will begin at once. Prepare to receive the first of our colony in less than 180 seconds.
Good. That is all.
180 seconds. Tex, They can be coming out of that lock in 3 minutes?
That's what Thaley says, and his mistakes are few and far between.
Hey, I got it this far. I can take it in.
Now, what are you two fighting about?
Sounds like home.
Well, I got this coffee from the galley for you, Tex, and Joan
I
here...
wanted to bring it in to you, Captain, but Jerry would not allow it.
That wasn't very gallant, Jerry.
Well, maybe not. But Joan took the coffee to Elaine.
Say, this is mighty good, Jerry. Certainly hits a spot.
How is Elaine, Joan?
She is apparently quite well, though there was not time to make sure.
No time? No time for what?
Something happened to her?
Yeah, she went to sleep.
Well, that won't hurt her a great deal.
You know, that girl has plenty of nerve. She deserves a rest.
But she did not even have her coffee. I sent Jerry to the kitchen and...
Kitchen. I've told you 100 times, on a boat, it's the galley.
Very well, Jerry. I sent you to the galley, and before you returned with the coffee, Elaine had fallen asleep.
Well, that's all right. Sleep will do her more good anyway. But I enjoyed the coffee. A little later, I'd like some more.
Oh, sure, Tex. I'll get as much as you want. Hey, what about the Euclideans?
I just had Thales on the radio. They're coming aboard right away, and they're not going to stop to argue about it.
The Euclideans agreed to your plans without resistance?
They did.
Doesn't sound right to me.
And it wouldn't to me, Jerry, if I hadn't heard it with my own ears.
Well, I'll bet it's a trick.
I would suspect that.
No, not this time. Frankly, I expected some argument about it. But for some reason, Thales sounded absolutely hopeless.
Yes, I think you're right, Tex. All the fight has gone out of them, but why?
I don't understand it. I'm just glad of it.
Yes, Skipper?
Come.
What's up?
Hurry.
What's happening, Skipper?
Euclidean.
Euclidean coming up out of the water?
Aye.
Oh, boy, come on, Joan. We've got to see
Yes,
this.
Jerry, it is very exciting.
Are the crew all lined up to run him into the hole?
Aye.
Come on, Pat. This is what we've been waiting for.
Yes, Tex, this is what we've been waiting for.
Hurry up. The first Euclidean is coming up the ladder.
The underwater city of Euclidia is being deserted. One at a time, just as fast as they can come up through the surface airlock, the Euclideans are coming aboard the Gregory boat and going to their quarters below the decks. Mrs. Gregory has chartered this small steamer, which is large enough to safely accommodate the Euclideans, and plans to take them back to the United States, where they will be placed in a scientific colony established for them there, and allowed to continue their work under guard. In the radio cabin of the boat, Mrs. Gregory and Joan have been getting weather reports in preparation for their 4,000-mile trip back to Los Angeles.
It is well along into the afternoon, Mother.
Yes, Joan, dear. Nearly 4 o'clock. That steady parade of Euclideans has been coming up over the side and going below since daylight this morning.
They look very strange, do they not? I can realize that since I have seen your world. I should not like to go back to those drab uniforms of Euclidean cloth and that cold, hard, scientific manner of living.
That's all over now, Joan. And our adventures will soon be over. We'll live quietly at my home in Los Angeles, and you'll go to school with Jerry.
Jerry says I know too much to go to school, but I do not agree with him. I believe I should go to school, if only to learn to behave exactly as others in your world do.
Yes, that will have value to you. And the association with other young people, boys and girls near your own age, will provide a lot of fun for you.
It will seem strange, but very nice to live your life.
Hello there.
Come in, Jerry.
And will you please close the door?
Oh, sure. But I wanted to keep an eye on those Euclideans.
I'm sorry, Jerry, but I'm a little nervous. For 7 or 8 hours now, I've heard those feet shuffling past this door. Watched those shapeless uniforms and the dull, leaden faces of the Euclideans.
Yeah, well, I guess it would get kind of sort of tiresome.
Just listen a moment, Jerry.
Golly, they do get on your nerves. The sound of their shuffling feet. I'll close the door.
Oh, thanks, Jerry. That's better.
Oh, gee, Mrs. Gregory, you're all upset about this thing.
Mother is not accustomed to being in charge of a boat with 250 prisoners on board.
Oh, sure, but the danger's all over now.
I hope you're right, Jerry. But a 4,000-mile trip with a boatload of Euclideans seems to offer plenty of opportunity for trouble.
They're not going to do anything. There's no fight left in that bunch.
I feel that is correct, Jerry. Never have I seen anyone look so hopeless.
You know, I think most of them are glad it's happened. I guess they weren't any too happy on Euclidia.
That was the idea Tex and I had when we agreed to this wild plan of trying to capture 250 people and take them home on an ordinary boat.
I heard some of the leading scientists say that they would welcome the opportunity of working under better conditions.
They're an amazing crowd of people, thinking nothing but scientific advancement. willing to be taken prisoners, to live anywhere and to work anywhere, just so they're allowed to work on their inventions and discoveries.
Yeah, and I'll bet you that we'll never have a bit of trouble with them after we put them in that place you bought.
They'll have plenty of room, at least. And the buildings and equipment are good. It was a very complete little college a few years ago.
But, Mother, why should a college be forced to close? Is there no one who wants to learn?
Well, plenty of them. But they want to learn in the big colleges with the best football teams.
Football? Do they attend the higher institutions of learning to study football?
Oh, lots of them do.
But I thought football was a form of recreation, a game.
It is, Joan, dear. But football is also the magnet which draws thousands of students to the larger schools annually.
How strange.
Well, maybe. But I like it all right.
Jerry.
Want me?
Captain.
Better run along, Jerry. Tex wants to.
Okay. Hey, looks like that's about the end of the Euclidean parade.
Oh.
That was the last of them, Skipper?
Then we might go out on deck, Mother.
Not yet, Joan. Tex asked us to stay here, and we'll stay until he tells us to come out.
Oh, okay. See you later.
Oh, thank goodness that's all over.
And now, all that we have to do is sail home.
Yes, that's all. Just a little 4,000-mile trip.
It will not prove difficult, I think.
Well, we've done our part, Joan. We've got all the weather reports the land stations can give us, and it looks like fair weather all the way home.
May I come in, Mrs. Gregory?
Of course you may, Elaine. Sit down here.
Thank you.
You must be very tired.
I am tired, but tired with the satisfaction of a task well performed.
And Euclideans are all aboard?
Why, yes. Yes, they're all aboard.
Elaine, has anything happened?
Nothing. The transfer has been without incident.
But you hesitated before you answered, Mother.
I am sorry. I did not mean to hesitate.
Something is wrong, Elaine? Tex? Jerry?
They are quite all right. I believe the captain suffered a disappointment, but he will tell you about it.
What sort of disappointment could it be?
If Tex wants us to wait for his explanation, we'll have to wait for it. It can't be anything very serious.
Mother, is that not the signal to start?
So soon? Yes. The engines are gathering speed, and the boat is beginning to move. Oh, we're underway.
I thought it would not be long. The captain gave orders to the 3 men who are to remain in the underwater city with the animals until another boat arrived to take them off.
Who stayed, Elaine?
2 members of your crew, and the engineer, Mr. McLeod.
Mr. McLeod will be with his pigs once more.
I'll bet Mac didn't like that job any too well.
He volunteered for it, and the captain thought an engineer should be in charge.
And after the cattle, birds, and chickens are taken out of the city?
Then it is to be flooded and destroyed.
It seems a waste of splendid effort to ruin that beautiful city. The Euclideans have spent more than 10 years building parts of it.
I know that, Elaine. But its existence would cause trouble. Trouble between nations as to who would claim it, and trouble among men for its scientific treasures.
I believe you are right, Mother. It will be better so.
Oh, Tex, it's really over?
Yes, Pat. It's all over. I hope.
You hope?
Elaine.
Yes, Captain?
I hate to ask you to do anything more until you get some rest, but you're the only one who can do this with any degree of certainty.
That is quite all right, Captain.
You go and join Jerry at the stern hatch. He'll explain what it is you have to do and report to me as soon as you finish.
Surely, Captain. Whatever it is, we will let you know the result at once.
Thanks, Elaine. And I promise you can sleep after that.
Tex, what's all this mystery?
Oh, probably nothing, Pat. I'm not sure yet.
You are worried, Captain Bradford?
Well, not exactly worried, but I'm a little disturbed about something.
Well, what is it, Tex?
G-47 has disappeared.
What? G-47?
Right.
You mean he didn't come aboard?
At least I didn't see him come aboard.
Then he's hiding down in Euclidia, and we've put off without him.
But that would be dangerous.
It would, but I don't think that's what's happened.
What else could it be, Tex?
G-47 doesn't tell all he knows to anyone. He might have a trick or two up his sleeve.
Where do you think he is, Captain?
On board this boat.
But you just said,
I
Tex,
said
that
I didn't see him come aboard, and I didn't. Or at least I didn't recognize him.
But what would be his object in disguising himself?
No telling, but I've got an idea he's on board.
Wouldn't one of the other chief scientists know?
Probably, but they wouldn't talk to me. I tried to get some news out of 3 of them. Thales, Cheops, and Octavo. They merely said they didn't know where he was.
Do you think it's possible he might have hidden somewhere in Euclidia?
Yes, Mother. That is quite possible.
Oh, Tex, those 3 men you left down there. They'd be helpless in G-47's hands.
I thought of that. But for some reason, I'm not afraid of it. There's more to G-47's disappearance than a simple hiding trick.
But what could it be?
That I don't know.
Was that the errand on which you sent Jerry and Elaine?
Yes. Elaine would be able to recognize G-47 if she was looking for a disguise. And Jerry will probably say the wrong thing and make some Euclidean so angry that they'll tell him what he wants to know.
I could have helped them, Captain.
I know it, Joan, but I thought it best to keep you out of there. Some of the Euclideans may feel that you and your mother started all this trouble for them when we went searching for you long ago. I think it's just as well if you don't go down into their quarters.
I agree with you, Tex. And I think that should mean for the entire voyage.
By all means.
Very well. If you wish it.
Ahoy, the boat. McLeod to Captain Bradford. Ahoy, the boat there.
Tex, it's Mac.
Didn't take him long to get down to that Euclidean radio and figure out how to work it.
This is McLeod. Can you hear me?
Hello, Mac. This is Tex. How did you find everything?
Those men left everything in perfect condition. We'll do very nicely until you get another boat down here.
Good for you, Mac. Now remember that if anything happens, you can use that small submarine in the lower lock. I took all my solvent away from that lock. And in an emergency, get out of there with your crew and start along the course to Los Angeles.
Nothing is going to happen. We'll take care of things. And now I must get along and feed the pigs. Good luck to you all.
Good luck, Mac, and don't take any chances. Well, that's the last we'll hear from Mac in some time.
Mr. McLeod is a fine man.
He certainly is. And Mac is the only man who could go into that underground city with 2 companions and calmly set about feeding the pigs while he begins the 30-day wait.
Will it take so long to get another boat to him?
The kind of boat we'll need to take out several hundred animals and birds won't be any speedboat.
Well, here we are.
And?
Nothing.
No sign of G-47?
He is not among the Euclideans.
Then where is he?
We don't know. And I don't think the Euclideans know either.
But they must know.
I believe not.
What's it all about, Elaine?
Thales seemed willing enough to talk, and I feel that he was speaking the truth. He has absolutely no idea of G-47's whereabouts.
Well, this certainly puts us in a fine position.
Yeah, with that guy running loose in the world, well, it won't be long until another of these crazy colonies will be springing up someplace.
That is right, Jerry.
Tex, can't we do anything about it?
Apparently not. What else did Thales say?
Well, he claims that G-47 disappeared right after we left in that rocket plane.
Well, what could he use for transportation?
I can't figure it. Those submarine locks were still magnetized when we got back.
And he could not take a boat out through that small surface lock.
Not any boat we saw there. But G-47 didn't tell the rest of the scientists all his tricks. Well, I could tell from the way they acted, G-47 was just about as mysterious to them as he was to us.
Well, he's gone, and there's nothing we can do about it. At least we have the rest of his colony. And G-47 is only one man. It will take him a long time to build another Magic Island or another Euclidean.
Nevertheless, Tex, I'd feel a great deal more comfortable if he were safely locked in the hold with the rest of them.
Yeah, so would I. But we can't help it.
I believe I will go to my cabin and rest, if I may.
Go to it, Elaine. You've helped a lot, and when we get home, we'll try to repay you.
I had hoped to promise you a world without any more fear of G-47, but I can't promise that now.
No, Mother. I am sure we will hear from G-47 again.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another world, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. But before we join Superman, here is an important message.
Fellows and girls, have you ever seen a squadron of American bombers roaring through the air in formation? Have you seen newsreel pictures of Uncle Sam's destroyers cutting through the seas on patrol in search of enemy subs and surface raiders? I'm sure you have, and I bet you were thrilled. You probably felt terribly proud, too. Well, if you've been buying war-saving stamps regularly, you have a right to be proud. Not only because those planes and those ships represent the fighting spirit of America, but because you helped to build them. Yes, sir, every time you bought a war-saving stamp, your money helped buy the labor and materials that are used to make planes and ships and equipment to knock out the Nazis and the Japs. So next time you hear some boy or girl on your block say, "Oh, shucks, what difference does it make if I buy one stamp or not? What difference can one dime make?" You tell them that it does make a difference. It makes a big difference. You tell them, for instance, that 5 dimes will buy enough fuel oil to take an American destroyer 1 full mile closer to its objective, or that 1 dime will buy 5 .45 caliber bullets. Tell them that if every boy and girl in the United States bought just one 10-cent war-saving stamp every day, it would add up to enough money to buy a lot of swift pursuit planes, with which our Army and Navy forces could blast the Axis out of the air. And while you're at it, you might remind them that this is one way that all you fellows and girls can help to win this war. Now, after all, everybody can't join Uncle Sam's armed forces, but all of us can buy war-saving stamps. So talk it over with Mother and Dad tonight. Tell them that you want to help Uncle Sam win this war by buying war-saving stamps regularly, every day if possible. And I'm sure they'll be glad to cooperate.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Superman and his companions in adventure are now in the Hudson Bay region of northern Canada, where they went to solve the mystery of the Headless Indian, an amazing phenomenon who rides a flaming horse through the night-filled forest. In our last episode, we heard how Lois Lane, lost in the deep woods in the midst of a raging blizzard, tried desperately to find her way back to the lodge. Niles Graham, otherwise known as the Lapper, had died of an accidental gun wound, and Lois had left him in the snow to return to the lodge. After hours of fighting her way against the storm, Lois suddenly realized she had been walking in a circle. All strength gone out of her, the girl reporter sank exhausted into the snow. Just then the howl of a wolf came to her on the wind, and she knew that the Wendigo, the werewolf, was abroad. And then, galloping through the night astride his flaming white horse, came the Headless Indian. Lying in the snow, unable to move, Lois watched with horror-struck eyes.
The Headless Indian. It's the Headless Indian, galloping through the night. It's true. There is a Headless Indian. Oh, no. No, it can't be. I'm seeing things again. It can't be true, because if it is, I'm safe.
Of course you're safe, Lois.
Oh, no. Oh, it's not you. It can't be Superman. How could you possibly have found me?
I've been circling about looking for you. I heard you scream. You're suffering from exposure. Here, I'll wrap my cape about you.
Oh, thank you. It's warm. It was so cold.
Now, listen, I've got to work fast. The lodge is 3 miles away, but I'm going to fly so fast that we'll be there in 5 seconds. I'm going to cover your head with my cape, otherwise the wind will cut you to ribbons. When I tell you, take a deep breath and hold it. Can you do it?
Oh, yes, yes.
Good. All right, take a deep breath. Now, up, and away! We're here, at the lodge.
Oh, it can't be.
I'm going to leave you here at the front door. I'll knock on the door so someone will come and find you.
Oh, Superman.
Another time, Lois. Up, and away! Now to intercept that horse and his headless rider. They'll undoubtedly make for the Devil's Canyon again, the spot where the horse appears to take off and fly through the air. Well, I know there's a Superman, but I have my doubts about a super horse. Here we are. Well, not long to wait either. Here comes the flaming horse and his headless rider through the forest now. Certainly is a frightening sight. If I weren't Superman, I'd be scared green. Oh, what's this? The horse is stopping. The rider is pulling him up. Hello. The rider is removing what appears to be a headless pair of shoulders. Another Ichabod Crane, eh? The headless horseman of sleepy Canada. This will be interesting to watch. Let's see what happens.
Hey, Joe, for the love of Mike, send down that flag and tackle, will you? I'm numbered the cold.
Take your shirt on. You think I'm any warmer than you are sitting up here on this platform in a train?
Oh, come on. Can it chatter? Send down that block and tackle.
Well, this is wonderful. A block and tackle to lift that horse into the air. To create the illusion that the horse took off into the air. Exactly the sort of fantastic but practical thing the Lapper would invent.
He said this little adventure would end in the death of one of us, and he was the one to get it. Now what are they doing?
Hurry up. Let's get this thing over with. I got a bucket of stuff into the horse's belly, don't I? Give me a chance. Okay, I got the strap buckled. Now up with the horse. Take him up.
Well, I think it's high time to take a hand in this amusing little incident. Just a moment, gentlemen.
But Lucifer, it's a guy in a Halloween costume. Say, what are you doing here?
Believe it or not, I was waiting for a headless Indian, and I believe I found him.
Come on down here, Joe. I got a feeling I'm going to have trouble.
There you are, Joe. I'll be up to you in a minute.
Now, look here, bud. I don't know who you are, but I ain't taking no chances, see? I got a rifle attached to this saddle, and I'm going to let you have it.
You're wasting your time.
What do you mean?
Bullets can't harm me, but you won't believe it until you see it. Go ahead and shoot.
Hey, this guy's crazy. He's playing nuts. He's asked me to shoot him.
Okay, shoot him.
Okay, I will. Jumping shooters, then bullets are coming off his chest like the jelly beans.
Now you're convinced?
Brother, I'm pixelated. Here, you take the rifle.
You hold on to it.
I can't. I can't on account I'm going to pass out.
Hello up there. Joe.
Yeah?
Your partner has fainted. I'm coming up.
Now, wait a minute, bud.
Hello, Joe. What a neat little theatrical setup you've got here. Strong platform built between two pine trees, rope, pulleys, wires, all for the one purpose of lifting that horse into the trees. Very interesting.
I done it all myself. I used to be a mechanic before I joined up with... Hey, I'm talking too much.
Nothing you can tell me I don't already know, Joe. All this hocus-pocus, the headless Indian, the flying horse coated with luminous paint, by the way, to make him glow in the dark. All this was designed to frighten Sebastian Beauvais away from the hunting lodge. I wonder why.
Ghetto, huh?
Yes, I keep wondering why the laugher went to all this trouble to frighten Sebastian away from the lodge instead of killing him. Will you explain that, Joe?
Not me, but I ain't explaining nothing.
But I insist, Joe.
And I refuse.
Don't refuse, Joe.
I ain't talking.
I haven't much time to fool with you, Joe. Talk or you'll be sorry.
Nothing going. My wrist. Hey, look how you're breaking my arm.
Are you going to talk, Joe?
No, I ain't.
Your last chance, Joe. Talk or I'll break your arm.
Okay.
Well?
Okay, I'll talk. I'll tell you anything.
Excellent. Now then, why all this bother to frighten Sebastian away from the lodge? If the laugher wanted to get him out of the way, why didn't he kill him?
Well, that was all he was going to do. Until we found out that every night Sebastian played chess with that money at McMinnow by shortwave radio. If we killed Sebastian, he couldn't play chess no more. And if he didn't play chess no more, the money would get suspicious. And if the money got suspicious...
He would have made the trip up to see what was wrong, and that would have spoiled the laugher's plans, eh? Why did the laugher want to get rid of Sebastian Beauvais? Why did he want to get White and Miss Lane and Kent out of the way?
Well, the laugher was in the counterfeiting business. We counterfeited everything from the United States currency to victory bonds, including Canadian dollars.
I see.
The cops was getting pretty close to us in Metropolis, so the laugher decided to go far away where they would never find us. So we hired this place from that French Canuck, and up we come. It took a lot of trouble getting the equipment in without the Canuck catching wise. We told him all them cases and things was hunting equipment and stuff like that. I don't think he ever really believed it, but there wasn't much he could do. We set the stuff up in the cellar, and we've been working there ever since.
Cellar?
We made sure the Canuck stayed out of the cellar, I can tell you that.
Well, that about answers everything. Okay, Joe, now I'm going to take you for a little ride.
Hey, wait a minute. I told you everything you wanted to know, didn't I? What do you want to put me on?
Oh, you misinterpret me, Joe. We're going for a little ride back to the lodge, where I intend to clean up this mess as quickly as possible. I'll just tuck you under this arm.
Hey, stop it! Will you stop it?
And we'll pick up your sidekick on the way down. Now to tuck him under the other arm. There we are. And now, up, and away!
And I tell you, my friends, for the first time in 2 months, I can sit back and enjoy myself.
Me too.
No more worry, no more trouble.
Well, the Northwest Mounted should be here by tomorrow night if you make good time. They can take your customers back with them. Say, by the way, Sebastian, you're sure they can't get out of those rooms we locked them in?
No, it is impossible. You know, I used to have amazed when I see all that counterfeiting machinery in the cellar.
I should think you would have been.
Yeah, never once they let me go into the cellar. I know it's something wrong, but what? I do not know. This Mr. Graham, he is the head of the great counterfeiting business?
You mean counterfeiting racket?
Oui. He was the man known as the Laugher?
He certainly was. I was never so shocked in my life as when he confessed everything to me out there in the woods just before he died.
Day after tomorrow, you will go back with the Mounties, n'est-ce pas?
Yes, Sebastian. I'll be sorry to leave you. Somehow, despite all the danger and excitement, I've sort of enjoyed myself up here.
So have I.
And I, too, have enjoyed having you. But I must speak the truth. I would be happy to return to my quiet way of living alone by myself, with nothing but the wild creature of the woods. The deer, the caribou, the bear. This is my life.
What was that? Well, it sounded like the laugher.
We must be hearing things. The laugher, Niles Graham, is dead.
You think maybe he's ghost?
Oh, nonsense, Sebastian. By this time we should have convinced you that ghosts don't exist.
Clark, ghosts or no ghosts, someone is laughing outside that door. And it sounds like...
C'est impossible. The laugher is dead. You saw him die in the woods.
What are we going to do, Clark?
Well, I'm going to open that door.
No.
Impossible. It can't be.
Lois, Kent, and Sebastian stand transfixed, staring in shocked amazement at a huge, fat man whose many chins are aquiver with silent mirth. Can this be a joke that someone is playing on them? Or can it really be... But wait. Listen tomorrow for the answer to this puzzling question. Listen tomorrow and every day, same time, same station. Tune in and follow The Adventures of Superman.
By all means, don't forget to tune in to Superman tomorrow for another thrilling and exciting episode. And don't forget to talk to Mother and Dad before you go to bed tonight about making arrangements to buy war-saving stamps regularly. Start the day off right tomorrow. Buy at least one 10-cent war-saving stamp first thing after breakfast. And remember what I told you at the beginning of this program. Every single dime is important, because all our dimes put together can go a long way to help pay for the guns and the tanks and the planes and the ships we need to knock out the Nazis and the Japs. And here's an idea for you. Why don't you get together with your friends tomorrow and make a joint pledge to buy war-saving stamps every time you've got a dime? See which of you can buy the most war-saving stamps every week and every month. In that way, you'll be doing your share to win this war.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky!
It's a bird! It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman is directed by George Lothar and is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. This is Mutual.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another world, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. But before we join Superman, here is an important message.
Fellows and girls, I bet every time you see a newspaper headline saying U.S. bombers sink Japanese battleship, you're just as thrilled and as proud as you can be. And when you hear of the exploits of General MacArthur's men, you wish you were old enough to join them and get into the scrap yourself. Well, those of us who are too young or too old to join the armed forces have almost as important a job to do. Our job is to help win this war by providing our armed forces with all the materials they need. Now, how can we do this? Simply by turning all our dimes and quarters and 50-cent pieces into war-saving stamps and bonds. You see, it's the money from the war-saving stamps you and I buy that finances this war, that pays for the guns and tanks and planes and ships needed to beat the Axis to save the American way of life. Now, let's look at the American war effort this way. Just imagine a broad funnel leading into a tremendous machine. Picture a broad, rushing river of nickels, dimes, and quarters pouring through this funnel into the puffing, grinding mechanism. And then visualize a steady stream of ships and planes, cannons and rifles, bullets and shells coming out of the other end. Now, doesn't that make buying war-saving stamps exciting? I'm sure it does. So let's pledge right now to drop our dimes into the American war machine regularly. Let's make up our minds for the duration to do without a few of the things they'd normally want, so that the money we'd spend for those things can be put into war-saving stamps and bonds. Begin now to tell your mother and dad and all the other members of your family that you'd prefer to have them give you war-saving stamps and bonds for Christmas. Tell them you'd rather do without the toys and things you'd usually want, so that America can win the war sooner. And don't forget, every time you've got a dime, buy a war-saving stamp, because a stamp a day will pave the way to victory.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Superman, in his disguise as Clark Kent, Lois Lane, girl reporter, Jimmy Olsen, copy boy, and editor Perry White have been in the Hudson Bay region of northern Canada, where they've been clearing up the mystery of the headless Indian. Niles Graham, otherwise known as the Lapper, was actually the man responsible for the illusion of the headless Indian. Niles Graham is now dead. In our last episode, we heard how our friends were sitting about a roaring fire in the hunting lodge of Sebastian Beauvais. It was night, and they were discussing the pleasant fact that their troubles were now over, when suddenly a laugh was heard outside the door. Our friends sat bolt upright, their eyes wide with amazement, for it sounded like the laugher himself. Yet the laugher was dead. Listen.
Great Scott! Graham! Nom de nom. It is the laugher. It is the laugher come back from the grave. Good evening, Miss Lane, gentlemen. Mon Dieu.
Clark. It can't be. Graham.
Steady, Lois. Hold on to yourself, Sebastian. I'm sure it's just another trick.
Yes, you're quite right, Mr. Kent. I am not Niles Graham. My name happens to be Benson. However, I am and have been Mr. Graham's double. Oh, don't you move to that fire poker, Mr. Beauvais, or I shall be forced to drill you with this automatic. Eh bien. There was no harm in trying.
Where did you come from?
Well, I've spent most of my time since arriving here several months ago in a room in the attic. After Mr. Niles Graham arrived, though, I managed to get about a good deal more. Many times when you thought that you were looking at Niles Graham, you were actually looking at me.
Oh, very convenient for Graham. He could be in two places at once.
I understand that you've got the boys locked up awaiting the arrival of the Mounties. Well, let me tell you that after I've taken care of you, I'll see that the boys go free.
After you've taken care of us?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Why, my dear Mr. Kent, you don't really expect to leave this room alive, do you?
But you can't kill us in cold blood.
Oh, please. Please don't kill us. I couldn't bear to die.
Oh, now, come, Mr. Kent. Take it like a man.
Oh, no, please. I can't stand it.
He's fainted.
Look out, Kent. Oh, blast it all, he's thrown his arms around. And this is the chap for which I pray. Now you stand back, you out.
Oh, good for you, Sebastian. Get his gun.
Oui, mademoiselle. I've got it. Poor Monsieur Kent, he's beginning to revive.
Poor Monsieur Kent, nothing. He's always fainting whenever there's danger. So I got to admit, I suppose he'd saved our lives this time.
Oui, it's the truth. Oh. This fat one has come to life again, too. I think we will tie him up and put him in the room with the others.
That's a good idea.
Now, at last, his business is really ended. Now there will be no more trouble.
No, indeed. No more troubles. Thanks to Superman.
No more troubles, Lois? Well, we'll see. It was not long afterward when they were all back home in Metropolis. In fact, it was on the very day that Perry White was to leave the hospital where he had been recovering from the wounds inflicted upon him by the grizzly bear, that new troubles began for our friends. Troubles that were to mark the commencement of a mystery so baffling that even Superman himself had difficulty in solving it. It all began when Superman, in his disguise of Clark Kent, went shopping for a present for Perry White along with Lois and Jimmy Olsen. The three were walking along the main shopping street of Metropolis discussing appropriate gift items.
What I say is, how can we buy anything from Mr. White when we don't even know what he'd like?
We know what he'd like, Jim, but he's got everything he needs. The best I can think of is a box of cigars. It makes me almost sick to think of it, too. Seems to smoke the foulest cigars. You got any ideas, Clark?
No, can't think of a thing, really. I've been watching these store windows pretty carefully, hoping they'd be able to offer some suggestion, but so far no luck. Oh, by the way, Lois, everything arranged for the little dinner tonight?
Yes, sir. I got the caterer about an hour ago. Dinner for 4 will be served in Mr. White's penthouse suite at 8 o'clock sharp.
Hey, look at that. Hey, look at what? In the window. That's a statue, or whatever you call it.
That's a plaster cast, Jim.
Yes, a plaster cast of the end of the trail, a famous statue.
The end of the trail?
Mm-hmm. Quite a well-known piece of sculpture of an Indian on a pony. You see how the Indian is slumped over in the saddle, his shoulders bent as if in weariness, his spear held loosely?
Well, gee, it seems to me that's just the thing we ought to get from Mr. White.
Heavens, Jimmy, why a plaster cast of an Indian of all things?
Well, I'm thinking of the headless Indian. Of course, this one has a head, but it sort of suggests the same thing.
Oh, I begin to get it, Jim. You mean it would be kind of symbolic to give Mr. White a plaster cast of the end of the trail in memory of the headless Indian we encountered up in Hudson Bay?
Yeah, that's right. I thought he'd like to have it to remember our adventure at Beauvais Lodge. And I also remember Mr. White was looking for an ornament to put on the table in his library.
That's a nice thought, Jimmy. But isn't that rather big for a library table?
I don't think so, Lois. The chief's table's pretty big anyway. Let's go in and price it. You got a good idea there, Jim.
Gee, thanks. Come on, let's go in.
Okay. We'd like to buy one of those plaster casts of the end of the trail.
Oh, certainly, sir. We've only 2 left out of 10 we got in this morning.
My, great, you're selling them fast.
Well, these aren't just ordinary plastic casts, you know. They're made by a small shop downtown from a metal form cast by the great sculptor Nino Bonelli.
Nino Bonelli? Well.
Frankly, I'd suggest you take both of them. They make awfully nice gifts, and Xmas isn't far off, you know.
Oh, no, thanks. One is enough.
No, just a minute. How much are they?
$5.98 with tax, of course.
Well, then I'll take the other one. I have a sportsman friend who'd simply adore having something like that in his study.
Very well. I'll have them wrapped separately for you.
We'll want one of them gift wrapped, please.
Yeah, make
well.
it look fancy. It's for a pretty swell guy.
Goodness, Jimmy, I didn't know that you and Mr. White were such bosom pals.
No, nor did I. He's always screaming at you about something, bawling you out, and just about making life miserable for you.
Well, that's only in the office. Somehow he's different out of the office. Golly, I'll never forget that day I spent with him in the woods. The day he fought with that bear. My gosh, he was such a different sort of a person. He told me all about Daniel Boone and leather stocking, and he smoked a pipe instead of cigars. When that bear came for us and the rifle was empty, he whipped out a hunting knife and battled with that grizzly like he was Daniel Boone himself. Yes, sir, Mr. White's a terrific guy.
Yes, Jim, he really is. We're lucky we've still got him with us.
And we certainly are, Clark. We certainly are.
Good, didn't it?
Well, I've never eaten so much in all my life. That's a wonderful dinner. Wonderful dinner. Well, I must say you certainly surprised me, all of you.
Oh, glad you enjoyed it, Chief.
I am too.
Here.
In the first place, I expected this was going to be a pretty dull night for me. First day home from the hospital, no place to go, just sit around by myself. And then you surprised me with this dinner. To say nothing of that plaster cast at the end of the trail, that's one of the finest reproductions I've ever seen.
Oh, we're glad you like it.
You know, I've been looking for something like that for a long time. How do you think it looked on the library table inside?
Oh, great, Chief.
Very becoming. I hope you won't mind, Mr. White. I bought another one for a friend of mine. A Christmas present, you know.
Why, no, of course not. Oh, Jim, I wonder if you'd get me one of my cigars from that humidor over there.
Oh, dear.
What? You say something, Lois?
Oh, no, nothing.
I thought you said something. The cigar, Jim, the cigar. Come on. What are you waiting for?
Nothing, sir, only I filled this pipe for you. I thought you'd like to smoke this after dinner instead of a cigar.
No, I'd rather have a cigar.
I thought while you were smoking the pipe, you could tell us a story about Daniel Boone or leather.
I'd rather have a cigar.
No, take it easy, Chief. Take it easy. Remember, this is your first day out of the hospital.
Here's a cigar, Mr. White.
Yes. Give me the pipe.
Sure you don't want the cigar?
Give me the pipe.
Yes, sir. Here it is.
So, you want a story about Daniel Boone or leather stocking, do you?
If you have one, sir.
Oh, I got thousands of them. Yeah, wait till I light this pipe. Mighty good. Sweet as a nut, this pipe. Well, the smell of that smoke sort of takes me back into the woods on that day you and I hunted together, Jim.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. That day, as I recall, I told you about Daniel Boone, the long hunt.
Yes, sir.
Well, there's quite a different atmosphere between an apartment in Metropolis and the Canadian wilderness, but I'll see what I can do. I'll tell you a story about Daniel Boone.
Oh, boy, swell.
Well, one time while Daniel Boone was on the long hunt, spending 6 months in the wilderness with only his gun and knife as companions, he came across a band of hostile Indians.
They saw Daniel before he saw them, and... What was that?
Came from the library. Come on, we better see what it was.
Why, there's something crashing to the floor.
There must be someone in there. Oh, but nobody could be in your library.
Someone might have got in through the fire escape. Come on. Here we are. Stand on the lights you left there, Kent.
Right.
Golly. The plaster cast of the Indian.
Oh, for the love.
It's shattered into 1,000 pieces on the floor.
Well,
Look, Clark, that French window leading to the terrace is open. The wind must have knocked it off the table.
There isn't any wind. Look at the curtains. They're not even stirring.
Now, wait a minute, Kent. Wait a minute. That plaster Indian couldn't have fallen off the table of its own accord.
It didn't. It was smashed. Someone entered this room and deliberately swept that plaster cast off the table.
But why, Clark? Why?
Yes, why? That's what I'm asking myself. I'm afraid there doesn't seem to be an answer.
What answer can there possibly be to this strange incident? Who knocked the statue off the table in Editor White's library, and why? A baffling and chilling mystery is just beginning, so tune in tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Tune in and follow The Adventures of Superman.
Yes, fellows and girls, don't fail to tune in tomorrow for another thrilling episode in The Adventures of Superman. And don't forget what I told you at the beginning of this program about the American war machine. Keep on buying war-saving stamps every day if possible, so that your nickels and dimes and quarters will continue to pour into the funnel and come out in the form of guns and tanks and planes and ships. Uncle Sam's soldiers, sailors, and Marines need these war materials to win this war and to knock out the Nazis and the Japs. The American armed forces are doing their job and doing it well. Let us do our part just as well. Remember that every stamp you buy helps to keep the boys on our fighting fronts well supplied. So every time you've got a dime, buy a war-saving stamp, because that stamp a day will pave the way for victory.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman.
Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman is directed by George Lothar and is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
This is Mutual.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett. Space Cadet. -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. For the cadets at Space Academy, the most exciting phase of training begins on a huge field, scarred and pitted by the blasts of raw power needed to break Earth's mighty clutch of gravity and set men free to rocket toward distant planets. Well, this is the Academy's spaceport, takeoff point for duty, adventure, and danger. Today, the entire Academy fleet of spaceships is out on the field ready to blast off on a mysterious mission. On the control deck of the rocket cruiser Polaris, cadet pilot Tom Corbett, Roger Manning, and Astro await Commander Arkwright's orders.
Attention! Attention, all cadet units!
Hey, listen, there's Commander Arkwright on the teleceiver.
Well, it's about time.
Hear this. Doubtless you've all been wondering why you've received no advance orders on today's mission. The reason is simple. As officers of the Solar Guard, you will often have to go into action without advance notice. For instance, when you are sent to track down and subdue an outlaw or enemy ship. As you want to do now.
Hey, hear that, fellas? I suppose we're really going after an outlaw?
Of course not, you Venusian
Your
clump.
mission will not be a real one, of course. The supposed criminal ship will actually be the Solar Guard cruiser Arcturus, piloted by Captain Strong.
Lucky guy.
So that's why the skipper hasn't shown up.
What happens to us now? Do we just sit here?
As you all know, Captain Strong is in charge of the Polaris unit, and obviously cannot be aboard the Polaris now since he's been gone for several hours. It has been decided that the Academy's training program will be greatly aided by making this entirely a cadet operation. Therefore, on this mission, each cadet unit will be in charge of its own ship.
Oh, brother, listen to that.
Sounds good.
Instead of taking orders from Captain Strong, we'll be chasing him.
I'll bet he leads us a real chase.
Now, here are your instructions for training maneuver 32, or as Captain Strong calls it, Operation Hide and Seek.
Hide and seek?
The outlaw was reported entering Earth's orbit at point A25 in Sector 12. This report from Terra Station. Moon observers have spotted the ship leaving our orbit at point M47, Sector 89.
Got that, Roger?
Naturally, Junior,
All
naturally.
ships are to proceed to the last point of observation and pick up Captain Strong's trail, which may lead anywhere in the solar system. Then track him down and engage him in mock battle. Of course, you are not expected to defeat such an expert pilot.
Think you can lick him, Tom?
Top space ace like the captain? Not yet.
But you will be graded on your battle tactics, as revealed by photographic recorders, and also on the knowledge and intelligence you bring to your training. Not just on how soon you find the Arcturus, since that may depend partly on luck.
Not when I'm doing the plotting.
Okay, Hotshot. Just see that you produce results.
One more thing. As I said, there is a strong possibility of danger, and you must be prepared to face it. You know that ships have been vanishing from the space lanes recently. One of them, the Academy cruiser Pollux, which disappeared 3 months ago on a routine flight. So keep your eyes peeled for trouble. Now, take your stations and prepare to blast off.
Let's go, Roger. Astro.
Okay. And spaceman's luck to all of you.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Fellas and girls, let me take you for a tour around the mess hall here at Space Academy. Well, it's breakfast time now, and all the cadets are down here eating. Up front there, you can see the main table. That's reserved for the officers. There's Commander Arkwright, one of his aides now. You know, Commander Arkwright sets a good example for the cadets at breakfast time. Right now, he's helping himself to a big bowl full of Kellogg's Pep. Oh, and there's Tom Corbett. Let's say hello.
Hi there. I heard what you said about Commander Arkwright eating Kellogg's Pep. Well, that's no surprise. I'm eating Pep, too. And if you look around, you'll see just about all the cadets eating Pep. We've got a tough day ahead, and we have to keep in shape. That's why it's Kellogg's Pep for breakfast. Kellogg's Pep helps us stay on the ball in gym and in the classroom, too. Everybody knows you can't make a good showing if you don't start your day with a hearty breakfast. That's why smart spacemen start their day with Kellogg's Pep.
That's right, Tom. You spacemen listening, take a tip from Tom Corbett. Start your day the spaceman's way. Ask Mom to serve up a man-sized helping of the better-than-ever build-up wheat cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Rocket cruiser Polaris hurtles away from Earth. Tom, Roger, and Astro are at their stations, ready to track down the Arcturus, commanded by Captain Strong, lurking somewhere in the depths of space. Now, as the powerful atomic drive speeds the Polaris out of Earth's atmosphere, Tom checks his unit mates.
Control to power deck. Check in, Astro.
Morning, guy.
How's everything down there?
Ship shape, Tom. The rockets are purring like kittens.
Great. Check you later. End transmission. Control deck to radar bridge. Check in.
Radar bridge, aye.
Any astrogation data ready yet, Roger?
Long ago, sonny boy, long ago.
Sorry, big shot. I should have known. Okay, let's have the correction for deviation from course.
Coming up. Starboard, 24 degrees, 17 minutes, up 3 degrees.
Starboard, 20... What?
You heard me, space boy. Starboard, 24 degrees, 17 minutes.
24? Hey, what goes here? You call yourself an astrogator, Roger? Do you know that your figures would take us inside Mars' orbit instead of the spot where the Arcturus was last seen?
Sure, I know it.
You know it? Well, what are you trying to do, knock us out of this operation?
Hey, what's going on here?
I'm glad you came up, Astro. Our genius on the radar bridge is taking us way off course.
What?
Just simmer down, kiddies, and listen, Uncle Roger.
Okay, let's have it. Fast.
Listen, Commander Arkwright gave us 2 points where the Arcturus had been seen, not just the last one.
I plotted its course and then extended it by extrapolation.
Extra what?
Now, don't let it throw you, bird brain. It just means using known facts to reach a logical mathematical conclusion.
You, logical?
Sure. Why, even if the Arcturus went into an evasion curve, we'd pick up the trail hours before the others.
He could be right, Astro.
But Commander Arkwright said proceed to the last point, and he also said it wasn't enough just to be fast.
Exactly. He said we should prove our knowledge and intelligence, and that's just what I'm doing.
Okay, genius. But look, suppose those first figures were just stuck in to make it sound like an actual mission. Then where would you be?
Nowhere. But would a guy like the commander just stick in a set of figures? He'd make sure they were real.
Yeah, he probably would.
Well, come on, let's go.
Hold your jets. Astro, what do you think?
Well, I don't know. It sounds good, but I'm never sure about Roger's shortcuts. I'll leave it up to you.
Well, right now, I don't know either. I'd sure like to have the Polaris come in first and best, but I'd hate to have her last and worst.
Well, come on, Junior. Make up your mind.
All right, Roger. We'll do it your way.
Attaboy.
But believe me, brother, you'd better be right. Control deck to radar bridge. Control deck to radar bridge. Roger, check in, will you?
Blast it, Tom. Stop bothering me. I have to watch the sniffer for radiation traces.
Well, Astro and I have been waiting down here for an hour. Isn't there any sign of the Arcturus' trail yet?
No, I'll let you know when there is.
Yeah, if there is.
There will be. Hey, great Jupiter. We just entered the probability area. Just keep your gyro steady, fellas. I'll call you in transmission.
Huh. Keep our gyros steady, with our Academy ratings depending on his judgment.
Yeah, if he's followed us up, our names will be mud around the Academy.
You're so right, pal. Well, we might as well stay out with the rest of the space junk if anything happens.
Radar bridge control deck. Port 1 degree. Keep her level.
Right. Okay, Roger, on course. Have you got something?
Yeah, on the trail. Hold the ship steady as she goes.
Hey, nice going, Roger.
Think nothing of it, Astro. It's just a little old miracle.
Are you sure you're not just picking up cosmic radiation, Miracle Man?
Now, look, Corbett, I know the difference between random rays and a spaceship pattern. This is the Arcturus track. I'll bet my last cent on it.
Okay. I'm holding steady on your course.
That's it. Stick with Uncle Roger and his little sniffer, and you'll wear medals.
Yeah, if we don't wear out first.
Hey, genius.
You mean me, I suppose.
No one else. Where did you get that name, Sniffer?
Well, that's what it does, doesn't it? Or am I supposed to call it Radiation Detector Analyzer Mark III all the time?
It's a cinch you wouldn't, Roger.
Cut the chatter, you two. Roger, keep your eyes on that sniffer.
It'd be better if he kept his nose at it.
Blow your jets, both of you. I got work to do.
Hey, I didn't make the hotshot mad, did I, Tom?
Oh, forget it. He's got a low boiling point anyway.
And not that I'd say it to his face, but he's a real top-drawer astrogator.
Yeah, that chance we took really paid off.
Radar bridge control deck. Check in quick.
Oh, that sounds like trouble.
Control deck guy. What's wrong, Roger? You didn't lose the trail, did you?
No, I didn't lose a trail. I found one. Another one.
You mean there are two trails?
Exactly, Junior. They run along together for a while, then go off in different directions. And I don't know which one to follow.
Radar bridge eye.
Getting anywhere in figuring out which of those two trails is the one we want?
Not yet, blast it. They're too similar.
Hey, Roger.
You in again, Astro. What?
Maybe one of the trails was made by a commercial spaceship.
No, I thought so at first, but the radiation patterns didn't pan out. Both these patterns were made by rocket cruisers. They're practically identical.
Can you check on which is the freshest trail, Roger?
Sure, by a diffusion comparison, but I think I can guess which is the right one without that.
Well, you better not guess, Roger. You better take time to check.
Look, I am sure. The last trail must be the one that deviates most from the original course. Come on, 6 degrees starboard, 1 down, and we're in.
That's pretty thin reasoning, Roger.
Listen, Tom, wasn't I right the last time? Didn't I get us this far? Well, don't I get a chance to...
All right. Don't cry all over the equipment. You win. I'm setting up the new course. Okay with you, Astro? Well, I suppose so, but I don't like it much. Neither do I, but I guess it's another chance we have to take, so full space speed and hope for the best. Hey, Tom, we're right on course, and the sniffer says the other ship is too. No deviation. Now, will you admit I was right?
Looks like it. Still, we may have more problems soon.
Yeah, what?
Well, we're moving in the general direction of Saturn, and you may have heard that Saturn has a moon.
9 moons, Professor.
I was thinking of the big one with the Solar Alliance colony.
Good old Titan. Remember the last time we landed there, that colonist daughter?
Yeah, I remember. But Titan's been producing uranium as well as pretty girls. So freighters transporting the uranium back to Earth have all been using the space lane. And I think the Arcturus is heading for that lane.
Oh, you figure the Arcturus will make a run on the lane, work its radiation trail with the others, and then blast out again, huh?
That's the way it figures to me.
Shows how wrong you can figure sometimes, Junior. The sniffer could pick out a cruiser pattern from a million made by traders.
I hope you can prove that, Hotshot.
Don't worry, I will. Say, maybe I won't have to.
What do you mean?
I'm getting something on my scanner. It's a spaceship down dead ahead.
A ship on this course? Why, that couldn't be a freighter.
It must be the Arcturus. Wait, farther.
Hey, Astro, did you hear that?
I sure did. Nice work, Roger. It's something funny, though.
Don't tell me you're not sure.
No, I'm surer than ever. The ship's making a good-sized blip on the screen now.
Already?
That's just it. The Arcturus should be burning up space, and instead she's just floating along, hardly moving. Great galaxy, suppose it's not the Arcturus. It must be. I guess Captain Strong's just tired of playing hide and seek.
All right, fellas, if it is the Arcturus, then she's a sitting duck. We can blast in on them before they can maneuver. Maybe before they know we're around. And we ought to get in some good shots, even if they are just on film.
Hey, maybe we can even win this dogfight. Oh, brother, if we could, wouldn't that make us hot stuff around the Academy?
It sure would. Okay, Roger. Keep your eyes on that screen. Astro, see if you can squeeze another couple of neutrons out of your rockets. Prepare to attack!
Radar to control.
Control eye.
Either just a touch to starboard time, about 1 point. That's got it. Now, keep watching your viewport. You too, Astro. The spaceship will be in sight in a second. Let's hope you got the right one, Roger.
Oh, it has to be, Astro. If we're wrong...
You're not wrong. Look. There it is.
It's a Solar Guard cruiser, all right, Astro.
It must be the Arcturus. Fellas, we're in.
Almost. We still have a strap on our hands, though. Okay, Roger, I'll handle the course visually now. You get on your gun control.
Right.
Stand by for changes in speed and course, Astro.
Aye, aye.
Remember, our guns contain telecams, not warheads, so there won't be any noise, only a little clicking sound.
Okay, let's start shooting.
We're not within range yet.
So what? We won't be wasting ammunition, just microphone.
We'll do it right anyway.
That's the wait time. The recorders will show it, too.
All right, coming into range. Ready, Roger? Ready? Fire forward battery.
Aye. Forward battery firing.
And right on the target. Okay, I'm starting east to port. Stand by to fire starboard battery. Forward battery, cease fire.
Cease fire, aye.
Fire starboard 1. Starboard 2.
Starboard battery's firing.
Keep them hot, Roger.
Hey, Arcturus is waking up. They've seen us. Captain Strong's maneuvering to return fire.
Let him. Our pictures will show we got him first. But I'll try to out-jockey him anyway.
He's opening his forward gun ports. Hey, Tom, look.
Great Jupiter, he's going to fire real warheads.
Is Captain Strong on space happy?
Here comes the first one. Astro, full blast on port steering rockets.
Full blast, aye. Here it comes. Wow, missed us.
And here comes another one. Astro, cut in emergency power. Let's get out of here.
Straight line.
Roger, contact Captain Strong. Tell him to lay off.
That's what I'm trying to do. Hey, I fired a full salvo.
Oh, brother, we'll never be able to duck all of them. Astro, hit the starboard steering jets.
Too late. Brace yourselves, guys. We're going to be clobbered.
Astro, check in.
Power deck. Aye.
Astro, what's the matter with you?
Nothing, Tom. I'm okay.
Then give me more power.
I can't. Main drive. Damaged. I can't.
Astro, check in.
Sounds like he's hurt, Tom.
Blast it. Can't you raise the Arcturus, Roger?
Not now. My transmitter shorted and the outside antenna is gone.
Oh, great. And look at the Arcturus. It's circling around. It's going to attack. And unless we can do something to stop it, we'll be blasted into meteor dust.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by. Hey, everybody, gather around and hear all about the swell prize you get free at no extra cost in every package of Kellogg's Pep. It's a magic moving picture eye. Know what that is? Well, let me tell you. The Magic Eye is a gleaming plastic disc with a picture mounted in the middle. Now, suppose your Magic Eye shows you funny man Bob Hope of Paramount Pictures standing there with a baseball bat in his hand. You just tip the Magic Eye back and forth in your hand, and Bob Hope starts swinging that bat, all ready to swat the ball. You say it's magic, all right, and so will all your friends. And you can get other magic moving picture eyes, too. Next one might have a train on it. You tilt the Magic Eye, and... Boy, the train starts smoking right down the track. How about that, Cadet Tom Corbett?
And say that's not all, Spaceman. You can get a complete set of 16 different magic eyes. You don't have to mail anything in. No box tops, no waiting. Just blast off on a cruise down to the grocery store and get a package of Kellogg's Pep.
Remember, there's a magic eye waiting for you right now, free at no extra cost in every package of the build-up wheat cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep. Driving forward in a mock attack on the cruiser, they trailed through space. Tom, Roger, and Astro were jubilant about their success until the other ship suddenly opened fire with real and deadly atomic warfare. Now, with the Polaris damaged, Astro unconscious, and their communications knocked out, Operation Hide and Seek is no longer a game, but a desperate struggle for survival.
Roger, that isn't Strong's ship, it's the Pollux. The Academy ship that disappeared 3 months ago. What? Sure, it must have been stolen, and the crew kidnapped or killed. It all ties in. Commercial ships missing lately. This one loafing around a space lane.
But who'd have the nerve to take over an Academy cruiser?
I'm trying to tell you. Space pirates.
Great gamma ghosts. They're out to get rid of us before we can report.
Yes, they've got a darn good chance of succeeding, too.
Those dirty space rats. But what can we do?
Just one thing, I'm afraid. Run for it. Try to make the outer moons of Saturn.
We can't land on those hunks of rock. They'd nail us like shooting fish in a barrel.
We won't land. Just use the moons to dodge the pirates' viewers and radar for a while, until you get that transmitter working.
Then what?
Then I don't know. I'm not even sure we can make the moons. But it's the only chance we have, so full evasion course. Let's go!
Okay, Tom. The radio's putting out a weak signal. Now what?
Now I want you to call Titan.
Titan? What's the matter with you? You'd be giving our position away.
Now, wait a minute. I'm going to be Titan.
You?
Listen, make your call full emergency. Then switch on. Change the circuit a little so it will sound different. Switch on again, and I'll answer from here.
What are you going to...
Will you stop asking questions? Just do as I say. Make that call.
Okay. Here goes. Space Academy cruiser Polaris calling Titan Solar Guard Station. Polaris to Titan, emergency call. Over. Hold it. Now, Tom.
Titan Station to Polaris. All units being alerted for an emergency call. Go ahead, Polaris. Over. Okay, Roger. Make it sound good.
We are under attack by space pirates and stolen Academy ship Pollux. Earlier attack temporarily knocked out our radio, now repaired. We are in full evasion course around outer moons. Can you send help? Over. Go ahead, Tom.
Message received. Help on its way. 3 Solar Guard ships about to blast off. We'll knock those pirates right out of space. Meanwhile, maintain radio silence. Over.
Thanks, Titan. We'll be waiting. In transmission.
Well, that's it. Now we hope for the best.
Yeah, but maybe those space rats didn't even hear the message.
Maybe not. So we'd better keep dodging.
Hey, the Pollux just showed up on my scanner.
Well, that means they can spot us, too. Stand by for another sharp turn.
Hold it. Why strain the Polaris when we don't have to?
Don't have to?
The pirates have hightailing it away from here.
Then he did hear us. We're off the spot.
Now what?
Now we head for Titan and report.
Yeah, but by the time we can alert the Solar Guard, it'll be in the clear. Tom, we'll not follow them.
We can't, Roger. Not in the shape we're in.
Look, I know it's asking for trouble, but they won't be expecting us to follow them.
Sorry, Roger. I'd be willing to take the chance, but you're forgetting Astro. He's still unconscious. We've got to get him to a doctor.
Oh, yeah, but Tom, he'll be all right. He's tough. And anyway, you said he wasn't badly hurt.
I said I didn't think so. I'm not a medic. I'm not sure.
But you know he'd want us to.
Probably, but he's in no condition to say so. And we can't gamble with his life.
He's not that bad. You're just scared.
Not at all. I just stop to think sometimes. Now, let's have the course for Titan.
But Tom, Okay, I'll figure the course.
And no tricks, Hotshot. Our next stop is Titan. As far as we're concerned, this is the end of Operation Hide and Seek.
Don't miss the next action-packed episode with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, when the crew of the crippled Polaris encounters the pirate ship again. And there is a battle to the death in Part 2 of Operation Hide and Seek. Tune in same time, same station for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal. Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in the cast were Al Markham, Jan Merlin, and Carter Blake. Today's program was written by Don Hughes and directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret. In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal all in one box. And no other raisin bran but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So, for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are standing alone in a mountain village somewhere in the puppet country of Andorra, the high crags of the Pyrenees trapping the last of the daylight. And you know that in one of the stone houses facing you, behind one of the doors that is closed against you, is a beautiful woman whom you must find before she meets her death.
Listen now as Escape brings you Kathleen Height's story, The Dark Wall.
Quiet of the night settled over us. I could hear only the silky ripple of the river Segre nearby, and a thin whisper of wind in the high pines above us. The strange silence of the day was over. Joyce was sleeping quietly now, a few feet away. I sank into my sleeping bag and prayed that things would go better tomorrow. Something roused me. Some sound. In a glance, I saw the gray of the pre-dawn, and then I saw Joyce. Poised at the side of my sleeping bag, wild terror in her eyes, and in her upraised hand, a heavy tire iron. Joyce!
Don't stop, Alan, don't!
Joyce, for heaven's sake, give that to me!
No,
Give it to me, let go! Let go, drop it, let it go!
No, I won't!
Let it go! Joyce!
Oh, you were supposed to wake up. Why? Why did you have to wake up? Oh, Alan, I'm so afraid.
No, you're all right, Joyce. Joyce, don't be afraid. No.
Oh, Alan, what's wrong? What's wrong?
There's nothing to be afraid of.
It's so awful to be so frightened.
Well, what frightens you? Can't you tell me?
I was going to kill you.
What?
I wanted to kill you.
Joyce, are you afraid of me?
Oh, it isn't you. I love you.
And I love you, darling.
Oh, I know you do. Alan, please, can't we go now? Can't we get away from here?
I knew now that Joyce needed care, quickly. Her sickness, whatever it was, had been a growing thing. As we drove through the narrow, winding roads of the Pyrenees toward the tiny state of Andorra, I tried to forget what had happened. Tried to ignore the mounting wall of silence between us. Something in that silence told me that Joyce's fears were greater than mine.
Why are you stopping here?
The road forks up there just ahead. I want to look at the maps. I'm not sure which way we're supposed to turn.
Aren't there any towns?
Well,
are we ever going to see people and buildings again?
You can't be too far from Andorra la Vieja, but I doubt if this road we're on is even on the map.
Then let's go back, Alan.
Let's see now.
If we don't know what's ahead, let's go back to Laredo or Barcelona. Anywhere but here.
It's a long way back, Joyce.
I don't care. This place, all tanglewood and pines, the narrow paths that twist and wander.
We're not lost, darling.
Then where are we? I don't like it, Alan. It's just a wild, lonely place. And it frightens me, and I beg you to take me out of here.
All right, darling. Don't worry.
I know what's behind me. Ahead, it's all unknown. I'm afraid of what's ahead.
No, you mustn't be afraid, Joyce. I won't let anything happen. We wound steadily higher and higher through the wooded Pyrenees. We met no one and saw no one. Andorra is a small state, only 192 square miles in all, but that morning it was an endless, stretching, climbing no man's land, a lonely place with no name and no face. Then finally we came upon it, not a town, really, a village with one great house and a few smaller ones. Perched there on the rocky ledge, it looked like the last stop before oblivion.
It's so quiet. I wonder where the people are.
I wonder if there are people. It's not a town at all. Perhaps we should have turned back when you said to.
Look.
Huh?
Look at the window.
Where?
I know I saw a face in the window.
Oh?
There's someone here, Alan. Someone.
No, you don't want to stay here, darling. Even if we find someone, this isn't the place for us now.
But you see, the door, it's opening. Alan, someone is here.
But, Joyce, this isn't the...
You have lost your way?
If we were told there was a town here.
There is.
Well, is this all there is to it?
We do not require more.
Please. I'm tired. I need rest. Can't we stay here?
Is there a hotel? Any place where we can get a room?
There is what your eyes tell you there is, and no more.
Is there a larger town anywhere near here?
You are in Andorra. Nothing is far away. Nothing is easily reached.
What's the matter with you people? But you always talk in riddles. Can't you answer questions? Can't you...
Please. We must stay here somehow. Just a while. I need to stop a while.
She is your wife?
Yes.
There is no hotel.
I see there isn't.
This house has many rooms, but we are a large family.
Please. Please, understand me. I've got to stay here. I can't wind around any more narrow trails. I've got to stop and rest. Can't you understand? Can I make either of you understand?
Darling, it's all right. We'll find a room. You'll rest. Now, you mustn't worry, Joyce.
I must sleep. I must. No matter what happens, I must sleep.
Can't you do something?
Lady, you come.
Woman! Almost as soon as he called, a squat little woman appeared in the doorway. They exchanged only a look, and then she came and led Joyce into the house. At first, I thought the man meant for me to stay outside. He moved as if to stop me from following. Then he stepped back, and I walked into the house. Joyce was stretched out on the bed when I got there. The bed was the only piece of furniture in the room.
It's nice, isn't it, Alan?
Well, it's a room, a bed. I wish it were more.
Oh, I'm so tired.
Yes, darling. Now you go to sleep. When you wake up, as soon as you feel like it, I'll take you to Andorra la Vieja.
Yes, Alan. When I wake up.
Sleep well, darling.
She sleep?
Oh, she's very tired.
The woman says she trembled. The woman says she is full of fear.
I don't suppose there's a doctor anywhere around here.
We have no need for doctors.
My wife is ill. We have need for a doctor.
You will not find one here.
I know.
Hey, get away from that car. Now, go on now. I said,
get away from it.
You are the intruder, not they.
Now I can leave the car alone.
They have.
Who are they?
My sons, my brothers, their sons. We are the family here. We are called Valera. We tend sheep and our own affairs.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm worried about my wife. I didn't mean to shout at them.
Most of the time our mountains protect us. We do not like intruders. It is not so bad in winter. The snows fall deep into the passes, seal them, and keep the intruders out.
We are not intruders. We don't want to be here. We don't mean to be here. And I promise you we won't be here long.
Sometimes the intruders come to hide in our mountains, to be lost from the world. Always the intruders are troubled people, full of fears and discontent. The worst of the world, they find their way to Andorra.
I walked away from him, along the crude cobble of the village path, away from the great house and the smaller ones. And everywhere, the sons, the brothers and their sons of Valera watched me with silent distrust. I walked to the rocky pinnacle that was the edge of the village, and beyond, as far as I could see, the awesome Pyrenees reached higher and higher, like a great wall closing out the rest of the world. I went back to the house where Joyce slept.
The woman is with her. She called out, and the woman went into her.
I shouldn't have left her alone. I must...
Wait.
What?
The woman has brought her quiet. That is enough.
I wouldn't try to keep me out here if I would... How is she, woman?
She is quiet now. The woman would not leave her so if she were not
quiet. Oh, Joyce, darling.
They said you'd gone.
No. Only for a little while. Only while you slept.
Don't come any closer.
Oh, Joyce. What is it?
Please. Leave me alone. I want you to leave me alone.
We're going to get out of this place, darling. Together.
No, I won't go. I won't.
We'll find the right road. It can't be far. And I promise you, darling, everything will be all right. We won't come here again, ever.
Why don't you listen? Huh? I talk to you and you don't listen. I'm not going with you. You can't make me go with you. No.
Joyce, wait.
Don't let it take me away. No, please don't let it take me away.
Joyce was clinging to the woman. Valera stepped in front of him as I came back to the front room, and beside him, from every corner of the room, the rest of the Valera men began to form a wall between Joyce and me. A wall of men, silent men, with staring disgust in their eyes. What are you trying to do? Oh, can't you see she's sick? I've got to get her out of here. Don't you know that? I'm taking her with me. And the whole lot of you can't stop me.
You are listening to The Dark Wall, tonight's presentation of Escape. One advantage in having several radios about the house is that they make it possible for housewives to listen while they work. A kitchen set, another in the living room, perhaps a third in the bedroom. Keep them all tuned into CBS Radio for our great roster of daytime dramatic stories. And now Escape and the second act of The Dark Wall.
aroused from a sleep that was tortured and full of pain. A bright afternoon sun shone in a haze about me, and when my vision cut through it, I saw nothing my eyes had seen before. I was in my own car, pulled to one side of a road that was wider than any I'd seen for days. And not far in the distance, I could hear the approach of other cars, but none were yet in my view. I got out, stood in the roadway. For all the stiff pain of me, it felt good to be part of the world again. But then I remembered Joyce, and the wall of Valera men, and I was lost and lonely and sick.
Hey, you should not walk in the middle of the road.
No, I shouldn't, only...
You are hurt? An accident?
No, I'm all right. I just don't know where I am. What road is this?
Oh, you're in Andorra. You know that?
I know that.
Then, straight ahead on this road, the direction your car is pointing. No more than 4 kilometers lies the capital, Andorra la Vieja.
Straight ahead, Andorra la Vieja.
I promise. I have just come through there myself. You are sure you are right? Not hurt?
No, I'm much better now. Do you know this country well?
Oh, well enough to drive through it quickly. My home is in Spain.
You wouldn't know a village. Near here, maybe a small village where everyone is called Valera?
No, I would not know it. There are many such villages in Andorra, if you can find them.
I must find it.
Perhaps in Andorra la Vieja?
Perhaps. My hopes were high for Andorra la Vieja. There would be answers for all my questions. There would be concern and help and interest. I told myself these things to keep my mind from filling itself with Joyce, to keep the pain quiet. Some corner of my mind held the memory of all that had happened in the house of Valera. I could not be sure I wanted to remember.
I do not see why you have come here, to me.
I didn't know any place else to go. I need so much help, I thought surely the police could do something.
There has been a crime?
No, my wife is ill. Very ill. She's with strange people in a strange village. I've got to find help for her and go back there.
Then why do you not do this? Why do you bother me?
I told you... Will you try to understand me? I don't know where the village is. I don't think it's far away, but I don't know where it is.
It has a name, the village?
I don't know that. The people there are called Valera.
There's a river called Valera.
No, I saw no river. No, not there. It was high, on a rocky crest of a mountain, just a few houses. You must know where it is.
You were there?
Yes, this morning.
Then you must know where it is.
No, I don't. I don't have any idea where it is.
But you were there this morning. And now you are here.
Look, I don't know how I got there. Can I make you understand that?
I think none of this is important.
Well, it's all important to me. My wife is ill. She needs care.
You tell me that. Perhaps then you would tell me why you left her in a strange village you do not know, with strange people you do not know.
I didn't leave her.
But she is there, and you are here.
Oh, you won't even try to help me.
Help you? Help you what? Find a town where you have been, and I have never been?
All right. All right. I can't talk anymore.
There is a hotel across the plaza. You will find other intruders there. Among them, a doctor.
I wasn't sure I'd heard him clearly, but there were no questions left in me. I stumbled out into the glaring sunlight again, steadied myself against a pillar, and when I could make out the hotel across the plaza, I walked there, held together, I know, by the thin strand of hope that I would find the doctor and there would be help for Joyce.
Here, drink it, Don.
Oh, hey, whiskey?
It's good whiskey. You need it.
Oh, good. It helps. But you do understand, Doctor, I have not come about me.
Your wife, I know, I understand that.
Oh, I'm glad someone does. You think the priest can help us? You think he'll be able to find the village?
Well, the padre will direct us there if anyone can. Meanwhile, there's time. Now, tell me about your wife as much as you can, as much as you know of her illness.
Well, I've called it illness. I suppose it's that. Fear. Unreasonable fear is an illness, isn't it?
Oh, indeed it is, yes. Has she known these fears long?
I don't know. We've been married less than a month. I knew her only a short time before that. No, it was all pretty sudden. She was alone, I was alone, and then we were together.
Yet you were happy together?
Oh, yes. Very happy. Very much in love.
Until this strangeness came over her.
Yes, that's right. May I?
Oh, please do help yourself.
Thank you.
How was it you described the difference in her, the difference in your relationship?
Like a wall, a mounting wall of silence.
Uh-huh. And in this silent time of hers, she is much different? Not at all like the girl you married?
She doesn't even look like herself. Her lovely, gentle face contorts into a wild thing, like she was an animal. Oh, it's ugly, Doctor, and so real. I couldn't imagine that, could I?
No, I don't believe you could. She was like that early this morning when she tried to kill you?
She kept saying that she had to kill me, that she wanted to kill me. And all the while she was so frightened. So very frightened.
But do you know what frightened her? Do you know any reason why she should want to kill you?
Well, I thought she must be afraid of me. She'd have no reason to be, but I thought that must be it. I asked her, and she said, "It isn't you. I love you." Oh, the poor darling.
And she said that after she tried to kill you?
Almost immediately afterward. It's a complete contradiction, I know, but that's the way it is. As if Joyce were two persons. Two directly opposite persons.
That may be precisely the case, you know.
I don't understand.
Two persons. One almost entirely good, gentle, kind. The other almost entirely evil, terrifying, menacing, fiendish at times. Two persons occupying one body. That's schizophrenia.
Oh, no. No, not Joyce, Doctor.
Oh, I'd have to be sure, of course, but from what you said... But still, I'd have to see her, talk with her, or there are many steps to take. No, the important thing now is to see her as soon as possible.
Schizophrenia, that's hopeless, isn't it? I mean, there's no cure, is there?
Well, it depends largely, I should say, on how long these two personalities within her have been warring one with another, the good and the evil, and the moral and the immoral. If the cleavage is minor at this point, if the breach between her two selves, as it were, is not yet great, then there is a measure of hope.
But she couldn't go on this way indefinitely, being two people. Mustn't one of herselves, as you say, win this war?
If it progresses unchecked, well, then, yes, oneself will emerge triumphant. It is a poor war word here, for in such an instance, the evil almost inevitably triumphs over the good.
Can we go to her now?
Yes, I'm sure the party will have our directions.
The priest's directions were perfect. As I'd assumed, the village was not far away, but the drive was an eternity for me. The strain of the last days was beginning to tell. I was wound tight and knotted by all that had happened and torn deep by all the doctor had said. I stopped outside the great house of Lyra. The doctor touched my arm.
Perhaps it's best that I see her alone, at first.
Oh, but I've got to see her.
Oh, I know, and you will, but you don't know what happened here before you left. The last you remember, she was terrified of you. I'll send for you soon, I promise.
Tell her I love her. Will you?
Oh, indeed I will. Oh, there's one thing I neglected to tell you, one important facet of this.
Yeah?
If we find what we fear most, you must take this comfort to your heart. A girl you love, who loves you, has no knowledge whatsoever of her other self.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yes, you ponder that. I shan't be long.
I watched the house door close behind him. And there in the high quiet alone, I took the comfort he offered me. The choice I loved me. That was all there was, really. All in the world I needed to know.
cannot go in there. The woman, the doctor, they have brought her quiet again.
I am going in. I will kill any or all of you who stand in the way. Move. Move! There. Anyone else want his head bashed in? Good. We'll make a real mess of things, won't we? Come on. I like to crack skulls. What's the matter? Come on. Keep me from that door. Make one little move and I'll tear you loose. Men of honor, I see. Where is she?
Don't let him. Don't let him try to kill me again.
Look at her. Look at all of your crawling, shrinking cowards. What are you? Gentlemen? You make me sick, all of you. I killed him, you know. He was a gentleman. Dear, gentle Alan. He won't be with us anymore.
Oh, please. Please, somebody do something.
Easy now. Somebody will.
Come on.
No. Alan.
I'll tell you, Joyce, what I told him. And you must take this comfort to your heart. Alan, the man you loved you very much. He didn't know this other self ever existed.
There were faces all around me. A wall of faces. Senseless, staring faces. And beyond them, a strange girl wept softly. All strangers. Strangers staring at me. And I stared back at the wall.
Under the direction of Norman MacDonald, Escape has brought you The Dark Wall by Kathleen Hite, starring John Daner with Joyce McCluskey. Featured in the cast were Ben Wright, Edgar Berrier, Nestor Paiva, and Fritz Feld. Your announcer, George Walsh. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are in a farmhouse on the southern coast of England. The autumn countryside around you desolate and bleak. And you know that in the dusk outside, waiting patiently for you, silently watching for you, is an enemy from whom there may be no escape.
So listen next week when Escape brings you Daphne du Maurier's story, The Birds. A reminder for drama and adventure fans, two of CBS Radio's best-known thrillers, Gangbusters and Gunsmoke, both heard Saturday nights, will be moving to Monday evenings on most of these same stations after this Saturday's performances. Follow the latest crime clues and true crime-smashing drama on Gangbusters this Saturday night, and don't miss U.S. Marshal Matt Dillon's latest Western adventure on Gunsmoke the same evening. Then, after this Saturday, remember to listen for them both on their new night starting next Monday, July 5th. Listen while you work. Enjoy Our Gal Sunday, Monday through Friday on the CBS Radio Network.
Chex, Rice Chex, and Good Hot Ralston present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy are approaching a building where the Secretary General's daughter, Carol, is held captive. Suddenly, they become aware of a painful, tingling sensation and a ringing in their ears.
It's hard to walk. It feels like a big weight on me.
Yeah, I can hardly move. Happy. Nora's using some kind of a ray on us.
Paralyzer ray?
It's worse than that. Doing an ultrasonic beam. Run back to the ship. Get out of its range quickly.
I can't.
Happy, get up. Here, I'll help you.
I can't even crawl. My head is 1,000 needles in it.
If we don't get out of that beam, it'll shake us to pieces.
We'll be back in just a moment with today's Space Patrol story, The Sleepwalker. And now, gang, here's some terrific news. Here's how to get a pair of the Space Patrol Space Binoculars, the most unusual binoculars ever designed. You wear them like official outer space headgear. That's right. A strong elastic band holds them snugly to your eyes, leaving your hands absolutely free. Now, these are not flimsy celluloid goggles, not a mask. They're the real McCoy. Big, full-size, solid plastic binoculars you can see way off in the distance with. Overall, they're a complete 5 inches in width, a complete 5 inches in length. And when you wear them, they stand out a full 3.5 inches from your eyes. Powerful? Oh, you bet. These are 4 power binoculars with 4 fixed-focus, pure lucite lenses. You can spot airplanes in the sky, watch for your dad coming home from work, read signs way off in the distance. Truly, the greatest Space Patrol value in all our experience. The most sensational offer we have ever made. Now, here's how to get a pair. Buy a box of Instant Ralston. Then, with your name and address, send 25 cents in coin and an Instant Ralston box top to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. If you don't agree that your space binoculars are absolutely tops, return them, and the Ralston Company will cheerfully refund your money. The address again is Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. Two hours ago, in the Neptune City office of Interplanetary Transport Service, a small white light on a control panel flickered and changed to red. A few seconds later, the traffic supervisor of the big private passenger service clicked on his spaceophone.
Space Patrol Search Command. This is the Interplanetary Transport Service Neptune office. Our ITS passenger ship N157 is overdue on 2 quarter-hour message to base reports. This ship last reported at 17:45 Universal Star Time on regular Terra-Neptune space lane. 900,000 DUs out of Neptune and has not reported to Space Control Terra. This office requests...
Within minutes, Space Patrol Search Command ships fanned out from Neptune, sensitive viewscopes scanning space for the missing passenger ship. 90 minutes later, in Commander Corey's central office on Terra, Cadet Happy sits before a spaceophone, tensely waiting a report from Neptune.
Happy. Nothing new so far, sir. I'll cut down the amplifier. Thanks. I've just got a report from the Communications Center from the Space Patrol Search Unit. They found the N157 out beyond the Neptune orbit.
What was wrong, Commander?
Passengers and crew had been mysteriously put to sleep.
Sleep? Why?
Cover a robbery, it seemed.
Well, was the thief still aboard?
No, we don't know yet. Chances are he was working with a Confederate who met the passenger ship out in space and took the thief aboard. But we know what's missing. One of the passengers, who was the first to revive, is making quite a disturbance about it. Can't say that I blame him. He lost 500,000 credits.
500,000? Wow.
Well, that's partly his own fault. He had them packed in an ordinary suitcase and didn't even ask for a guard.
Well, why in the universe was he carrying that much money around?
He's a space construction contractor named Reese Bixby. Took over the government artificial satellite job after the other contracting firm defaulted.
Oh, yeah. He's the man who boasted he could finish the satellites within 6 months.
He can probably do it, too. Fortunately, he's a much better space engineer than he was a guard of his money.
Well, the money isn't hid aboard the ship then, huh?
Apparently not. Ship has been searched. The only clue so far is that 2 passengers are missing. You don't know who they are until all the passengers arrive, so interplanetary transport can check the passenger list.
And then we'll know who's missing and who took the money.
Unless the thieves were traveling under assumed names, which they probably were. To me, this looks like the work of the sleepwalker.
Oh, the crook who's been stealing plant payrolls by putting people to sleep.
Right. Up till now, at least he hasn't committed any other form of robbery.
It seems that this sleepwalker walks in other people's sleep.
That he does.
Interplanetary Transport Service, Neptune office, calling Commander Corey, Space Patrol Headquarters, Terra.
Corey here, go ahead.
This is Interplanetary Traffic Supervisor Jenkins, Commander. The two missing passengers are a man and a woman. The man is listed on the roster as William Knight.
And the woman?
My assistant is checking the names now, Commander. Hurry with that, please.
William Knight. Make a note of that, Happy.
Yes, sir.
I have the other name, Commander. I can't believe this.
What is it, Jenkins?
The missing woman is the Secretary General's daughter, Carol Carlisle.
What?
It was on the amended passenger list, a last-minute change transmitted from Terra, which is why we were so long in finding out.
Jenkins, stand by for further instructions.
Yes, Commander.
Happy, get the ship ready. We're blasting off from Neptune immediately.
I wish we'd get a report from the Neptune Search Command, sir.
Well, by this time, the other ship could be thousands of DUs away, huh?
And we haven't the slightest idea of what kind of ship to look for.
Carol shouldn't have made a trip without notifying the Space Patrol.
Carol calling Commander Corey. Carol calling Commander Corey.
On the miniature spacephone channel. Carol, thank goodness you're safe.
Oh, God. I was taken off of a passenger ship inside the Neptune orbit.
Yes, we know that. Happy and I are headed for Neptune now. Where are you?
In the aft compartment of a private cruiser, Class C.
Do you know the registry number?
Yes, it's PCV85. I got a look at it when it joined airlocks with the passenger ship.
And you weren't affected by the sleep gas?
No, I was in my compartment. When I came out, a man grabbed me and forced me to the other ship.
Well, what man? What's his name?
Well, he was one of the passengers. His partner calls him Woody. Woody Knorr.
Who's his partner?
He was piloting the private cruiser. His name is Bob Morgan.
Do you know where they're taking you?
No, all I know is someone's coming.
Hide your miniature spacephone, Carol, but leave it on. Corey out.
I've changed vector for their position, sir.
Good, Happy. Increase our acceleration to 4G.
We came in to have a little chat with you, miss. What's your name?
You mean you don't know?
Why should we? It was the money we were after.
Yeah, it's too bad you weren't in the lounge with the rest of the passengers. Or maybe it's a good thing. How would you like to join up with us?
Yeah, we can make it very profitable for you. Nice-looking kid like you would go far in our organization.
Why, of all the insulting...
So you want to play rough, huh? Well, I'll be glad to oblige you.
Let go of me.
Let her alone, Morgan. Just get her identification.
No dame's going to slap me and get away with it.
Send me her purse.
Oh, all right, Woody. Hey, look at that bracelet on her arm. Jupiter Emerald. I bet they bring in a few credits. Must be some big shot's daughter. I've changed my mind, Woody. This dame is an extra bonus.
Shut up, Morgan. Do you know who we got here? It's the Secretary General's daughter, Carol. Of all the passengers in the ship, we have to grab the one who could give us the most trouble. Let's go back and take her out front so we can watch her every second.
They've left the compartment. You hear the sound of their rockets in the spacephone. The ship will be easy to follow on our viewscope finder.
I've got a rough three-point fix on their trajectory. If they keep on that vector, it'll bring them close to Venus.
Got to cut down the distance between their ship and ours. If we don't get them in the viewscope before they land and cut their rockets, we'll lose them.
All right, Morgan, set her down.
Venus. By the looks of the landscape, we're near the Southwest Sea, close to the Tycho Mountain.
That's right, Miss Carlisle. Nobody will ever find this hideout. Cut your rockets, Morgan, and don't overshoot the rocket port. You take the money. I'll handle the girl. Come on, we got to decide what to do with you. All right. Just sit down and relax, miss.
Yeah, you can watch us count the money.
We got to reach a decision right away.
What do you suggest?
Well, we can't keep her here, and we can't turn her loose. She knows too much.
Well, there's only one thing. Do away with it.
Yeah. But so far, we never had to resort to anything so drastic.
That's our own fault.
My fault. Just how do you figure that?
You just keep out of this. Just leave it to a woman to spoil a man's perfect record of crime without violence. Me, Woody Nor, the sleepwalker. I pulled off dozens of robberies and never even had to slug anybody.
I've got it. You can take some of this money and hire somebody else to take care of it.
Morgan, have you no code of ethics? The principle is the same.
Hey, listen, spaceship.
It's a space patrol ship.
It's Terra 5, Commander Corey's ship.
Blast him. How did he train us here?
What are we going to do?
Take it easy. I'll turn on the ultrasonic beam.
What will that do?
Just what? I got a scanning device on the roof. It revolves slowly. And when a beam is interrupted by a moving object, ultrasonic waves are focused on it.
Ultrasonic waves? What do they do?
Well, first they affect the nervous system. They paralyze any living thing within range. The more the victim moves, the more intense the vibration becomes. There is no escape.
Oh, no.
Finally, the vibration acts on the flesh like a million tiny scalpels. I won't use it, except that I'm forced to in self-defense.
Stop showing how much you know. Let's get this over with.
All right, come to the window if you'd like to.
I thought I saw somebody at the window up there in the hideout, Commander. They've seen us.
Keep your ray gun in its holster, Happy.
Suppose they start firing at us.
You may be taking them by surprise. Not? Well, what do you know? He's never used physical violence before in his other crimes.
Let's hope he doesn't start now.
If you come up here ready to shoot, he may get panicky and harm Carol. Probably figures his own best chance is to...
Commander, I feel sort of funny.
Oh, a tingling sensation.
There's a ringing in my ears. Do you notice it?
It's not exactly a sound, yet...
Hey, it's a pill or something? Hard to walk. It feels like a big weight was put on me.
Hardly move. Happy. Nora's using some sort of ray on us.
Paralyzer ray.
Oh, that's worse than that. Look up there on the roof. See that big metal cone?
Following us.
We're in an ultrasonic beam. Get back to the ship, Happy. Get out of its range quickly. Happy, get out. Here, I'll help you.
Commander, I can't even crawl. My head, it feels like it's got 1,000 needles in it.
If we don't get out of this beam, it's going to shake us to pieces.
We'll be back with Space Patrol in just a moment. Say, gang, listen to this. Poor old motor. It's got nothing to go on but ordinary fuel. I say, but listen to this. Wow, there's a motor that's supercharged. Got super fuel in it, that's why. Now, gang, you know the same is true of you. When you have ordinary fuel for breakfast, what are you? Just a putt-putt. But when you have super fuel for breakfast, well, that's when you can be a super somebody, because you're supercharged. So, gang, eat the super fuel Buzz Corey has in the morning. A power breakfast with wheat checks or rice checks, the bite-sized super cereals. Good? Ah, wait till you try them. The swellest tasting cereals in the universe. And the only cereals in the universe with that modern, bite-sized design. So don't be a putt-putt. Be a super somebody. Eat a breakfast that supercharges you. A power breakfast with the super cereals, Rice Chex and Wheat Chex. Woody Knorr and Bob Morgan have stolen 500,000 United Planets credits from a passenger ship and abducted the Secretary General's daughter, Carol, because she was the only person aboard the spaceship who could identify them. However, Buzz and Happy were able to follow the thieves' spaceship by tracing through Carol's miniature spaceophone. As the commander and his cadet walked toward Knorr's hideout on Venus, Knorr turned on an ultrasonic beam. The beam could first paralyze and then destroy them. Right now, barely able to move, Buzz and Happy lie on the ground as the high-frequency sound vibrations rack them with pain.
Maybe we can roll away from the beam, sir.
It's getting more intense. In a few seconds, we'll be completely paralyzed.
Our ray guns, maybe we can hit the cone.
Ray guns wouldn't affect it. Wait a minute. That cone tracked us, followed us.
Yes, sir.
It must be controlled by an electric eye. If we can blind that eye.
Blind it? You mean throw something at it?
No. Our atomolites. Shine your atomolite on the round unit on top of the cone. I'll use mine, too.
If I can move my arm.
Got to, Happy. Quickly, while we're able to move at all.
I'm getting it good. My hand is shaking so much I can't hold the beam steady.
It's working, though. My beam's in focus.
I've got it, sir. The cone's turning all around, back and forth and up and down.
We've confused it. Keep your atomolighter, though. It'll find us again. Can you get up, Happy?
Pretty shaky, but I'll try it.
Keep your light steady. That's it.
Wow. I'm as wobbly as a burned-out rocket.
Come on. We've got to get in there before Noah thinks up something else. This time we won't hesitate to use our ray gun.
They're getting up.
You might as well give up. Buzz and Happy are more than a match for you two.
Shut up. We're not through yet. Morgan, you hold him up. I'll take the girl and the money. We'll slip out the back way.
Oh, sure. Leave me to face the music alone, nothing doing.
Well, we both can't get away. And if I have the girl, I can force Corey to let you go.
How do I know you'll do it?
Don't argue, you fool. Corey and the cadet are pretty shaky from the sonic beam. You can handle them. I'll take Corey's ship, and when you get out, you take mine. There they are. Hold them off. All right, miss, let's go. Come on.
Stop it. Let go of me.
I said, come on.
Oh.
Hey, Woody, you got a rig.
Now, use an iron bar and lock your door behind you.
Once more, Happy. That's it.
Oh, I'm so weak I can hardly stand.
I think easy, Happy. I'm probably hiding down this hallway.
I think I hear somebody in this room, sir.
I'll open the door. You cover me from the side.
Yes, sir.
Empty. Try the next one. Now, Happy, I'll continue searching the house. You go out and see if there's a back door. They may come to me.
Smoking rockets, we're too late. They made it to their ship.
Their ship, nothing. Look out the window.
Terra 5. They took our ship.
And we'll take theirs.
I don't think you will.
Commander, look out! Why, you... Give me that bar.
Stand back, Cadet.
Oh, shoulder.
Next time it'll be your head, just like the commander got, only not so easy. All right, now take those guns.
The commander's hurt bad.
He'll be all right. Well, Cadet, let's carry out the commander's order.
Huh?
You wanted to get in our ship, so pick him up. Come on, you're going to have to carry him. Morgan to Nor. Morgan calling Nor.
Nor here. What happened?
Everything worked out fine. I have 2 passengers. They're resting secured back aft.
Good work, Morgan. You blasted off without any difficulty then.
A little. Everything's fine now. What's next?
Hey, if we're going to talk business, switch over to the scramble circuit.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, we'll rendezvous near the uncompleted artificial satellite.
What about our passengers?
Well, unload yours on the satellite in spacesuits and without the jetpack. Then I'll transfer to our ship.
What about the girl?
I'll leave her in Terra 5. All comfortable and secure. Except for one little thing.
All right, Corey, Cadet. Get into the airlock.
You aren't going to drop us off in empty space.
If I was going to do that, I wouldn't have shut off the rocket. When you open the outer hatch, you'll step right off onto the unfinished artificial satellite, the one swinging around Venus.
What about Carol? You're going to leave her with us?
She won't be far away. Now get out. Close your helmets and step out.
I want to know what you're going to do with Carol.
You're going to get a blast of this ray gun if you don't move. I'll tell you about Carol when you're outside the ship.
There's Terra 5, sir. But why is Nor stopping it so far from the satellite?
Happy, stand clear of Morgan's ship. I think he's getting ready to blast away from the space platform.
That's right, Corey. Gonna pick up Nor and we'll be on our way.
What about Carol?
Leaving her in Terra 5, several hundred yards away. But we're leaving a time bomb in the ship with her.
What good is that going to do you?
Ship's destroyed, there'll be no chance of it being sighted by another ship. No one will look for you two on this unfinished space platform. Not for weeks.
Why can't you give Carol a chance? Put her here with us.
Would you prefer to have her go quickly instead of suffering from hunger and thirst? Besides, Nor and I like to think of you two watching, waiting for that explosion. It'll give you something to think about while you wait for your own finish.
The ship is nearly out of sight, sir.
Yes, the contemptible colony.
And there's Terra 5, so close, and yet it might as well be several DUs away for all we can do about it.
Commander, this is Woody Nor. It's just a final fond word of farewell.
Nor, listen. Did you really leave a bomb in our ship?
Well, you just wait and see. Hey, incidentally, I can barely hear your signal from the spacesuit transmitter. I doubt that a spaceship could hear you or reach you in time to save the girl. Oh, yeah. Don't forget to keep your magnetic boots turned on full, or you'll float off into nowhere. Goodbye, Commander. Nora.
The dirty rats. We're about as far from the regular space lanes as we could be.
Yeah, that's why the satellite is being built here.
If we only had our jetpacks. But here we are with no way of moving off this platform in a set direction. Sitting here in a scrap pile of tied-down metal, waiting for that bomb.
Happy, wait a minute. It's not a scrap pile, not to us. It's rocket fuel.
Rocket fuel? Why, it's just chunks of metal.
There's a big broad plate of endurium. That'll serve as a space raft.
Space raft?
Get busy and pile some of these scraps on the plate.
Well, sure, sir, but I don't get it.
We're going to make a man-powered rocket.
A man-powered rocket?
Remember that summer on Lake Azure when you stood up in the canoe and threw a rock at a leaping fish?
Sure. I went over backwards out of the canoe into the lake.
Exactly. You demonstrated Sir Isaac Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Sure. That's the principle that rockets and all spaceships operate on.
Right. Spaceship moves forward because molecules of fuel are forced out of the rocket engines. This big flat endurium plate is our ship. You and I are the engines, and these chunks of metal are the fuel.
Hey, I get it. We toss the chunks off our raft in the opposite direction from where we want to go.
Right, let's get busy. Don't know how much time we've got left. There. That's enough scrap metal, Happy. Get on the raft and brace yourself firmly.
Yes, sir.
Let's throw together and smoothly, or we'll zigzag. I'll give us a start by pushing away from the satellite with my hand. Make sure your magnetic boots are firm on the raft or you'll be in trouble.
We're moving. Hey, just like pushing away from a pier in a boat.
It's not very fast, but we'll gain speed. We'll start throwing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Not going much faster.
No, but with each throw, we gain acceleration. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3.
Gee, sir, look how close we are to the ship.
Yes, but we're not heading for the airlock. Throw off the right corner this time. That'll turn it. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that heads are right, sir.
We can stop now. The raft will coast at this velocity. We don't want to hit the ship too hard. It's going to be quite a bump as it is.
If that bomb goes off now, it's just too bad for all three of us.
Brace yourself, Happy.
Wow.
All right, open the outer hatch. Let's hurry. Quickly into the airlock. Now close it so we don't let the air out of the ship. Into the ship.
Carol, where's the bomb?
Open your faceplate, Happy. She can't hear you.
Oh, Happy.
Oh, where's the bomb?
It's in the next compartment. I've been trying to get loose from these ropes.
I'll get it.
Here it is. You want to heave it out the airlock, sir?
That won't be necessary, Happy. I'll cut off the time mechanism.
Oh, what a relief. I've been lying here expecting every second to be the last.
Now we've got to get Nor and Morgan. Do you have any idea where they're headed?
I remember Woody Norr saying something about taking part of the money for a place in Lowell City on Mars.
Do you remember where in Lowell City?
Let me see. I think I can, but I'm so upset right now.
All right, Carol, you relax. Happy now, blast off.
All right, pull the surface car up here, Morgan.
Okay. Hello, city sure looks good to me. Hey, sure this guy can get rid of these credits for us without getting caught?
Oh, yeah. He's got a perfect setup. He spreads the stolen credits among the bank's funds. Gives us other money for the hot stuff. Less 10% for his services. Okay, let's get out of the car. I'll bring the load.
Help you with your luggage, gentlemen?
Hurry.
Run for it, Morgan.
Oh, no, you don't.
Hey, let go of it.
This one's for that sonic beam.
If that's a gun you're reaching for, drop it.
I've got Morgan, sir.
Hang on to him, Happy. Get up, Noah, on your feet.
All right. Don't hit me anymore.
You got off that space platform, but how? Didn't the ship explode?
No. We got to the bomb about 2 minutes before it was set to go off.
Somebody rescued you. It's impossible. There wasn't a ship near enough to get you in time. No living person could help you off that satellite.
Yeah, you're right, Nora. No living person did. But somebody did help us. One of the greatest scientists who ever lived. A man whose name was Sir Isaac Newton.
An exciting preview of next week's thrilling Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. But first,
this is your commander,
Cadet Happy,
and Captain Dick Tufeld, gang. We're going to tell you how to get a pair of those sensational new Space Patrol space binoculars that you can see way off in the distance with. Now, remember, you don't have to hold these binoculars up to your eyes. You wear them on your head like outer space headgear. They're form-fitted to your eyes, and a strong elastic band holds them snugly on. Now, these are not flimsy little celluloid goggles or a mask. They're real, full-size, 4 power binoculars with 4 pure lucite lenses. Real binoculars 5 inches long, 5 inches wide, made out of solid black plastic with a bright red leather-like trimming. And when you wear them, these big, handsome space binoculars stand out from your eyes a full 3.5 inches.
Remember, these are 4 power binoculars. This means they make objects way off in the distance look 4 times closer. You can spot airplanes in the sky, boats on the water, far-off objects on land. Your space binoculars will smallify, too. Yes, sir, when you reverse them, they make things look real little and far away. Lots of fun, right, Hap?
You bet. And boy, oh boy, these binoculars have that real outer space look. Gosh, when people see you wearing your space binoculars, why, they'll think you just stepped out of a rocket ship from Mars.
Gang, send for these valuable Space Patrol space binoculars today. Without a doubt, the greatest value we have ever offered on Space Patrol. To get a pair, do this. Buy a box of Instant Ralston. Then, with your name and address, send 25 cents in coin and an Instant Ralston box top to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. This offer good only in USA and may be withdrawn at any time. If you don't think your space binoculars are really tops, return them, and the Ralston Company will refund your money without question. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol story. A strange fever, the wandering fever, has struck the planet Neptune, and people are leaving by the thousands. Happy, who's been on Neptune with the commander, has caught this strange fever and taken off alone in a spaceship. As he flies under the influence of the fever, he mutters to himself and is unable to heed the voice of Commander Corey coming over the ship's spaceophone receiver.
It's beautiful out here in space. All the planets of the solar system, the stars beyond.
Commander Corey calling Cadet Happy. Listen, Happy.
There's that voice again, over and over. So far away, so far away.
Happy, this is urgent. Listen, the ship you're flying has no landing control unit.
Oh, why don't I go to Pluto? Yes, I'll head for Pluto.
Happy, listen to me. You're in serious danger. If you try to land that ship, you'll crash.
Be sure to be with us next Saturday for the exciting story, The Deserted Planet, when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again bring you Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! Space Patrol, an original Mike Moser production starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Glenn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston and directed by Larry Robertson. Other players were Ken Mayer, Virginia Hewitt, and Bela Kovacs. Dick Tufel speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again presents the new, exciting Space Patrol! And be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC TV station. Consult your paper for time and channel. Space Patrol comes to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.